Chance of the gold ball. Union takes on Mustang next here on the Cox Channel.
In your hometown and in your neighborhood, Cox Channel, showcasing your favorite teams all season long.
We are at Chapman Stadium, the site for this year's 6A state semifinals, and today it's Union taking on Mustang. Hi again, everybody. I'm Steve Marshall. Don King is alongside. We're excited to be here to bring you this 6A semifinal matchup. Two teams that are hungry to get to that championship game.
No question about it. Union getting to the championship game several times. Mustang trying to get there for the first time since '05.
Let's see how they both got here by virtue of their wins last week.
Well, Union had no trouble with Edmond Memorial. Mustang had to hold off Broken Arrow in BA last week to advance to the semis.
And of course, we talk about featured players, and as usual, it has something to do with the quarterbacks. For Union, it's Mason Farquhar.
Farquhar is a guy that does both jobs very well, running the football and throwing the football. He got hurt in the Mustang game, so he feels he has something to prove today.
And for the Broncos, it's junior Chandler Garrett. Big, strong arm, big, strong kid. He ran for 3 touchdowns in their playoff victory last week. It's Union, it's Mustang, and it's a semifinal matchup, and it's all next right here on the Cox Channel.
Do your children have what they need to succeed in school? Students with a computer and internet at home have a higher graduation rate than those without. And while more teachers assign homework online, having internet access at home is critical to the education and future of our youth. If your child is part of the National School Lunch Program and you have not had Cox Internet, you may qualify for the Connect to Compete program to get discounted internet service. Call 855-222-3252 or visit connecttocompete.org/Cox to apply.
There are 2 big mistakes you or a family member can make buying Medicare supplement insurance. One, choosing the wrong plan. There are many choices and they can be confusing. You need a knowledgeable professional to help select the right plan for you. 2, paying too much. The Medicare benefits of each plan are the same no matter which insurance company you choose, but the cost can vary tremendously, which is why you need SelectQuote Senior. An experienced SelectQuote professional will carefully explain the pros and cons of each plan. Then, impartially shop a select group of highly rated insurance companies like these to help find your best rate. Get the expertise and savings SelectQuote is known for.
Just call 1-800-520-3872. 1-800-520-3872. SelectQuote Senior. We shop, you save.
And welcome back once again to your Oklahoma Ford Dealers Game of the Week. It's the 6A semifinals, and today it's the Union Redskins taking on the Mustang Broncos. Both teams have come out for their celebratory run out from their inflatable helmets, and we also have our third person in our crew today. That is Casey Bowles working the sidelines. Casey.
Hey guys, you're right. You know, absolutely. I got to talk to both coaches before the game, and they gave us 3 keys, starting with the visiting team, Tulsa Union. Kirk Frederick talked about handling the kicking game with this weather being so wet, really wanting their punters and snappers to be able to hang onto that ball tight. Second, turnovers, really limit those turnovers, limit the mistake. And third, establish a running game. Over the home team, Mustang Broncos, Jeremy Dombeck talked a little bit about big plays, not only just a sound kicking game, but having big plays from his kicking game, getting a return or something big like that. Secondly, he talked about less penalties. The last game between the 2 teams, they had 30 total penalties. Got to limit those penalties. And lastly, success on third downs. Those are what these coaches feel like they need to do to win this game.
All right, we'll check in with Casey throughout the contest here. Union has won the toss. They have deferred, so they will kick it off. Mustang in their red jerseys with the white pants, and Union with the black pants and the white jerseys and the silver helmets. These 2 teams met back on Halloween. Mustang was winning that ball game before falling 30-24. Here's a look at their starting offense. Chase Brown is the running back. The wide receivers are David Parker and Miles McFadden, along with Jacoby Long. Roberts, Oteri, King, Harper, Taylor, and Jacob Conley, the big guys up front for the Mustang Broncos. They'll get the ball first, unless, as coaches were pointing out, how key the kicking game is both these teams today, Don.
Special teams is always huge. Union has made a living at exploiting your weaknesses, their opponent's weaknesses on special teams. Clevenger, with the wind at his back, should sail this one easily into the end zone.
After some morning rains, it's turned out to be a pretty nice football day. As Don said, it's deep into the end zone, so they'll automatically score that a touchback, and they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line as we take a look at the starting lineups for the Union Redskin defense. It's Chance Wengluski, Eric Giddings, Malin Al-Jabori, also Lorenzo Thomas and Seth Mishler, Colton King, Javon Elliott, Ayo Ologolo, Jack Allspaw, Brandon Golphin, and Trey Brown, the defense for the Union Redskins. And there's the quarterback, Chandler Garrett, just a junior, big kid, goes about 6'5". Kind of a dual threat quarterback, but not your typical dual threat quarterback. You usually think of those guys as being fast and speedy. He's a bruising type runner. Very first play from scrimmage, handoff right side, nice hole, out across the 25 to about the 28, 29-yard line. Chase Brown gets things going here for the Mustang Broncos.
He's the guy that Sutton probably doesn't get enough attention, but Chase Brown over 1,000 yards rushing this year for the Broncos. Very capable, and he's very good, Steve, at getting out of the backfield, catching the ball.
Seen him bounce out of the backfield several times this year. Patient behind his runners. It was 2nd down and 1. And according to the spot, he's not going to get that 1 yard for the first down, so they'll have to do it on 3rd down, if at all.
Wengluski, number 98, keep your eyes on him. The defensive end, Division I prospect, one of the top defensive linemen in the state.
So 3rd and short. Really about the nose of the football is all they need to get. Try to draw him off sides, and actually Mustang moved, but no flag came out. Receiver in the slot, top of your screen, moved. And the handoff goes to Brown, breaks the first tackle, gets the first down yardage out across the 32 to 33, an initial first down for the Mustang Broncos.
Trey Brown had him in the backfield, couldn't close the deal for Union. Brown is a guy that, like this secondary, they gamble a lot. Sometimes they have given up the big plays, probably more so than any regular, normal Union team. But again, a very good defense that does gamble on and is successful in doing so.
New set of downs for the Broncos. Tight end Ochoa goes motion to the left side. Garrett rolls and wants to throw. Dumps it out of the backfield. Pass is caught by the big tight end. A short gain on the play there. Bryce Roberts. As we take a look at that replay, Garrett again, just a little dump pass, if you will, out of the backfield.
Garrett, one of the top junior quarterbacks. There you see the nice play. Waited for the pressure to come to him. And that tight end Roberts is a big load. But Garrett, along with Torrey, the quarterback at Santa Fe, a very good junior class in quarterbacks this year in the state.
Short gain of 2 on the play. 2nd down and 8. Brown again. Straight ahead. And he maybe gets a yard, 2 perhaps, but that's it. That Union defense clamping down. That's going to bring up 3rd and long for the Broncos.
Union uses the 3-4 defense. That's something they've used for quite some time. Very good with the linebackers.
David Parker, leading receiver for the Broncos. Top of your screen, he's number 1. Play clock is down to 10. Mustang seems a little confused on offense. And more than likely, looks like they're going to have to take a timeout. Some confusion on the sidelines, and they will take a timeout. With 9:24 left to go here in the first quarter, no score. 6A semifinal game, Union and Mustang. We'll take a timeout ourselves and be right back.
Hi, can I sign you up for AT&T?
Oh, well, like Cox, do you offer free HD programming?
Oh, sure, we offer free HD formatting.
I'm sorry, what?
I mean, freeze, HD.
Use your words.
Only Cox can say they have free HD programming.
Flea, broadband, fanpancing. I'm gonna go. Okay?
Discover all the things only Cox can say.
If you don't have life insurance, a final expense insurance plan pays cash to your family for final and all other expenses. If you're unable to purchase life insurance due to a pre-existing or current medical condition, call us right now for information and a free consultation. Rates will never increase, the policy cannot be canceled, and there are no restrictions on how your beneficiaries can use the money.
Call 1-800-493-1145. 1-800-493-1145.
Scoreless right now. 6A semifinal. The winner of this game will take on the Jenks Trojans. They were victorious last night as they won their contest handily, 42-14 over Owasso. Here we're looking at a third down and about 7 as Garrett drops to throw. Crossing pattern over the middle. Pass is caught, but driven back. They'll give him the 39-yard line, but that's it. And that will bring up 4th down and 3 for the Broncos, and it looks to be a kicking situation.
Jacoby Long there, 14, made the reception. He is probably their most athletic receiver, Steve, and we'll see him on the basketball floor.
Absolutely.
In the winter. In fact, it wouldn't be unusual to see Jenks, Owasso, Mustang, and Union in the state basketball
Good point. Basketball, of course, getting started for a lot of the smaller schools. Mustang wanted an offside. This kick goes straight up in the air. Takes a bit of a Mustang bounce. That's going to be a net of about 6 yards on that punt. That thing just went straight up, and look at the flag, and it is bristling a little bit, but really got underneath that one after Mustang thought that they had drawn Union offsides, which would have given them a 1st down.
Well, I think number 14, Io Olagolo, their starting safety, might have gotten a hand on it. He certainly pressured the punter into hurrying his punt. And again, Union very good in special teams.
All right, let's check in once again with Casey Bowles as Union takes the football. Casey?
Hey guys, you know, talking to both of these coaches, they both talked about their running games and how successful both of their running games are and how important it was for them to establish a running game. Mustang started good right there, and we'll see what Tulsa Union does this drive.
First play, handoff. Looked like it was stopped at the line of scrimmage, but fighting forward and picking up about 4 yards on the carry will bring up 2nd and 6.
That is Tyler Atkins. He's their leading rusher and has been the last couple of years. Very steady. In fact, when Union had injuries a couple of seasons ago, Atkins came in and took over as the running back, and nobody's been able to unseat him since. He's very good, especially yards after contact.
3-man front for the Bronco defense. Broncos in their victory last week kind of held down that Broken Arrow duo. They have been playing so well, and that was obviously key to them coming out on top. Farquhar's pass is tipped at the line of scrimmage, falls incomplete, and that'll bring up 3rd down and about 5.
Braden Conley, the defensive lineman, I think, reached up and got a hand on it. As you see the defensive back, Daughtry.
Here's a look at the Union offense with Atkins and Calvert, Thomas, Fisher, Fox, Lewis, Gonzalez, Harker, Sunoka, and Edwards on offense for the Redskins.
They are missing one of probably their best lineman, Dalton Briggs, who went out with an injury earlier this season. However, Davis Harker, the center, also went out. He's now back in.
3rd down and 6. Farquhar takes the snap, moves around in the pocket, escapes, and he's going to be taken down, but he's going to get enough for the 1st down. They were trying to drag him down by the shoulders, and he just kept his legs churning. He'll get 1st down yardage inside the 40 down to about the Mustang 36-yard line.
You know, there's obviously some familiarity with Union being here. They play every year in the Backyard Bowl.
Take a look at the Mustang defense with Thomas and Humphreys, Conley, Cutter Smith, Caden Truelove, and Cole Daniel, Zach Davis, Carter Reese, Darian Richards, Emilio Doherty, and Keontae Miles. The defense for the Broncos. 4th down.
And in this situation with the wind at their back, and now they seem to have some problems with what kind of play they want to run. But you would think they'd go for it here.
6 on the play clock. And Coach Frederick decides that he wants to take a timeout. So both teams being very cautious, wanting to make sure that they can get the correct play in there and not look back and think, man, I wished I'd have called the timeout there. As one coach told me years ago, well, you got 3 of them, might as well use them all.
Exactly, and of course, in the previous game, just 3 weeks ago, Mustang had 20 1st downs for their head coach there, Jeremy Dombeck. Union only able to garner 8 1st downs in that game and had to punt 9 times. So this Mustang defense rose to the occasion until it was very late when Union came back and scored 18 points in the 4th quarter to win.
There you see the series history, not much history to it. As a matter of fact, we told you about the game that was played back on Halloween, and Union won the other meeting between these two schools, so they lead this series 2-0. We talked about teams that have made it to the finals, and of course the West Side has only had just a few teams make it as far as the finals. Norman North back in 2012, of course, before they were handled by Jenks. And then you have to go all the way back to 2005 when this Mustang team was in the finals.
Yeah, that was at OU back in 05, as you mentioned, and Union was #1 in the state. Mustang ranked 8th, and Union won that game 33-7. But what a year it was that year. They had Josh Cooper on that team in 05. Matt Edmonds was the quarterback.
A little shy. Not quite enough. So we'll see what they are able to dial up here.
And then the last time Mustang was in the semis, that was at Broken Arrow in 2010. That was a team that had David Glidden on it, and Jinx disposed of the Broncos in that semifinal game.
So 4th and short. Union quickly to the line of scrimmage. Farquhar up under center. Will turn and hand to Atkins. He's got the first down inside the 35. Finally down at the 33-yard line. Actually on the carry, it's number 28, and that's Terrell Buchanan.
Buchanan was the original starting running back a few years ago, and what a journey it's been for him. He was off the team, had actually transferred to another school out of town, came back, and has worked his way back as a starting linebacker.
Here's a run to the near side. That one's going to be taken down at about the 31-yard line. The ball carrier this time, number 11, is Robert Thomas, the wide receiver.
They love to get the ball in number 11's hands. He's also plays on the secondary, Steve, and probably their best open field player.
Leading receiver on the team as well. He's lined up in the slot near side. Twins either way for the Union Redskins as Farquhar takes the snap and drops. Pressured, throws, passes caught by Thomas, but only for a gain of about 1 yard, 2 at the most. That'll bring up 3rd and medium distance here, about 3rd and 5 coming up for the Redskins.
Mustang did a good job on the coverage. Farquhar really wanted to go deeper on that pass than he could, but with the pressure coming at him, he had to unload it underneath the drag route to Thomas.
Redskins, Farquhar looks left, flush out of the pocket, and then taken down. He'll gain 1 yard on the play, but that'll bring up 4th down and about 5. Union trying to speed up the tempo right away back to the line of scrimmage once again. Atkins is in there at tailback.
Chase Holt, their field goal kicker, is capable from 45, but apparently they're going to go for it.
See if they can't draw Mustang off. Farquhar checks with the sidelines. Curious to see what their flashcards hold on the side. It's become very fashionable to have celebrities on there and things like that. Farquhar takes the snap, right side pass on the money. Pass is complete, out of bounds, 1st down right at the 20-yard line. And the receiver on the play for the Union Redskins, number 24, is DeAndre Calvert.
Calvert is a guy that made 2 huge catches in the game against Mustang to really bring Union back in that 4th quarter 3 weeks ago.
Right at the 20-yard line. Farquhar keeps it. He's got running room up the middle. Inside the 10, spinning all the way down to the 8-yard line. And a pickup of 12 and another 1st down. Farquhar doing a nice job on that zone read. Kept it himself, and after he made that decision, there was nobody really there immediately for the Broncos. Here's Atkins powering his way down to the 5-yard line. He'll pick up 3, and it'll be 2nd and goal for the Redskins trying to get on the scoreboard first.
Couple of 4th down conversions in this drive. Here's a look at that left side of the offensive line. Boy, just power football right there.
Mustang's defense not very big. You would think that the power running game would be something that Union would be able to use. They use it against everybody else for the most part. Here's Farquhar going to keep it all the way this time. Left side, Farquhar fighting for the end zone. Touchdown. Redskins are on the scoreboard first. Just a power running play to the left side. Farquhar a keeper all the way, and he gets into the end zone for the first 6 points of the ball game.
Well, Jinx scored the first time they had the ball last night. Union scores the first time they have the ball, even though they got great field position near midfield. But Farquhar is so tough. running the football. He is just, he's hard to bring in. It's hard to get a good shot on him. Despite his size, he is low to the ground, runs low to the ground.
Extra point attempt. Snap is back. The kick is up, and it is good. Redskins, they score first. They lead at 7-0. 6A semifinals here on the Cox Channel. 7-0 Redskins on top. We'll be back.
Do your children have what they need to succeed in school? Students with a computer and internet at home have a higher graduation rate than those without. And while more teachers assign homework online, having internet access at home is critical to the education and future of our youth. If your child is part of the National School Lunch Program and you have not had Cox Internet, you may qualify for the Connect to Compete program to get discounted internet service. Call 855-222-3252 or visit connecttocompete.org/Cox to apply.
An important medical alert for all parents of boys who have taken Risperdal. The medication Risperdal has been linked to breast growth in young men, also known as gynecomastia. The FDA issued several warnings to advise patients that young males grew enlarged breasts after taking Risperdal, and in some cases required corrective surgery to treat the complication. If your son was prescribed Risperdal and has been diagnosed with gynecomastia,
call Parliament Law Firm 1-800-604-5093 for a free legal consultation. 800-604-5093.
Welcome back to your Oklahoma Ford Dealers Game of the Week. It's a 6A semifinal contest. The winner goes on to take on Jenks in the state championship 2 weeks from this weekend. Coach Randall Loki tuned in today, watching on the Cox High School Hub. And if you're watching, make sure you share with others throughout the state, throughout the country, throughout the world. CoxHSHub.com is where everybody can catch this game live. And, of course, other games yet to come. And, of course, then we'll be talking about basketball and wrestling and swimming season just around the corner. Here's the kick after the Redskins go on top 7-0. It's into the end zone. Automatic touchback, and it'll be 1st and 10 for the Broncos from their own 20-yard line.
You know what is as impressive as Union's drive on this scoring drive is Farquhar's ability to hang in there. That was a big 4th down pass to Calvert, and then his ability to shake off tackles, or at least get some power to the goal line. A drive that took just about 3 minutes off the clock.
So Mustang unable to convert. They got a couple first downs their first drive. Union took advantage of a poor punt, had great field position to start, and ended up getting the 6 points on the board. Here's Garrett, far side, had Parker wide open but overshot him. Pass is incomplete as Parker had gotten in between the secondary. The ball sailed a little bit on Chandler Garrett.
That's certainly a pass that Mustang's going to have to hit in this game to win the game. And Garrett and Parker's their leading receiver.
2nd and 10 for the Broncos. Handoff, Brown starts up the middle, then bounces it outside. And Brown with a nice run, going to get first down yardage. Finally knocked out of bounds at the 36-yard line. A pickup of 16 by Chase Brown.
How about that? Brown and Mustang only ran for 57 yards in the first game 3 weeks ago on 25 carries. And shoot, Chase Brown's pretty close to that already after this run.
Kind of a deceptive running back. Doesn't look fast, but once he gets into the secondary, he can turn it on. This time Garrett's going to keep it. He gets slammed to the ground when Gluski there to greet him and take him down.
And when Gluski shows you why he is the runner-up as a wrestler at 190 pounds this past February. Very physical player, 58 tackles and already 8 sacks on the season.
Didn't it come down to him his freshman year for the team championship, if I remember correctly?
Could have been.
He was a freshman and had all the weight on his shoulders, and he had to come through and did so, if memory serves me correct. 2nd down and 14. Garrett has time. Now rolls and throws to Parker. Parker's going to get out to just beyond the 40-yard line. They need to get to the 46, so that'll bring up 3rd and 6.
You know, if you watched the Jinx Owasso game last week, you saw how good Gabe Neff, the Owasso quarterback, is at improvising. And Garrett is just as good. When he faces heat, he gets out of the kitchen and can roll around until he finds something like he did there for Parker.
See what they dial up here now on 3rd down and 6. Garrett with Brown in the backfield. Brown slips out. It's a screen, and the pass is dropped, incomplete. And that one looked like they had the blocking built up. Offensive lineman took out that way, but Garrett and Brown just couldn't find the handle together, and that means a punting situation coming up for the Broncos. Last time, Union came after it and forced a poor punt. They'll see if they can't do better this time. Snap is back in fine fashion. They hurry the punter once again. It's a high kick. It's much better. Takes a bit of a Bronco bounce and will settle at the 34-yard line, and that's where the Redskins will get it. 1st and 10, leading 7-0, and I think this is where Mustang's defense really needs to make a statement here, Don. If we're going to keep our club in this ball game, we got to come up with a stop here.
Exactly. Even though it is just the first quarter, you get the same sense that this defense has to make a statement. Certainly not necessarily a 3-and-out, but certainly to prevent Union from going down and scoring again.
3:08 left to go here in this first quarter of play. 6A semifinal. Because of the breakup of 6A into 6A1, 6A2, they will actually take next weekend, Thanksgiving weekend, off, a bye week, and then play the championships the week after that. Jenks is already there. The winner of this one will be meeting them. Handoff. Atkins breaks a tackle into the secondary. He gets across midfield. A nice run by Atkins, and there you see that combination of power and speed.
And again, Atkins with the 18-yard run here and the first down. Gets a great hole. And again, that yards after contact. Two guys had a chance at him, but couldn't close the deal.
Spot the ball at the Broncos' 48-yard line. 1st and 10. Atkins just off to Farquhar's right. Play action. Farquhar looking near side. Pass is caught. Nice throw right there on the money. Reception made by number 31. That's Will Hamilton.
Hamilton came into the season as their top receiver, but had foot surgery and missed most of the season. He's just now getting really back into football playing shape.
So many weapons on this Union Redskin ball club. You lose a D1 prospect, and there's usually somebody really good waiting right behind him at most every position. Atkins straight ahead. And he's not going to get much this time. Picks up 2 on the play. We'll get it to the 30-yard line.
Well, that's what you've got to do on this, certainly, to help your defense, is to stop them on first down and make them 2nd and long, as compared to first down plays where they got a run of 18 and then a pass of 16, putting Broncos defense on their heels. There's a look at Cole Daniel.
One of the top linebackers for the Mustang Broncos. 2nd down, handoff. He is met right away, but you mentioned yards after contact. Looked like he was stopped cold, but he was still able to fight forward and pick up an additional 2 or 3 yards.
Good job stopping the play is Daughtry coming up from the safety position, unable to close the deal, but still finished him off enough that he got some help after the short gain.
Coach Skip Hyde helping us with stats reminds us that Union was 2 for 2 going for 4th down in that first scoring drive. It's 3rd and 4 right here as Farquhar goes over the middle, finds the big tight end. He's got it, just dragged down by his shoe tops. Reception made for Union. That's Holton Fox, the big tight end, and a touchdown saving tackle.
They don't throw to the tight end a whole lot, but they've got a big target right there in Holton Fox, and a nice job of running with the ball after the catch.
So 1st and 10, 1st and goal, actually from the 6-yard line, as they get a look at the numbers on Fox. Just about a catch a game. Union with a lot of shifting going on. 2 on the play clock. They just do get it off. Atkins starts left and goes right. Gets inside the 5 and finally down at about the 3-yard line.
Union's only loss, they've won 10 in a row, Steve. Their only loss was at South Lake Carroll, a national power down in the Dallas area, and they lost that game in overtime at Jerry Jones Stadium, 42-41. Reeled off 10 straight since.
2nd down and goal from the 3. Farquhar, Atkins straight ahead, and Atkins crosses the end line into the end zone for the touchdown. 2 possessions, 2 touchdowns, and once again, they make it look relatively easy.
And they'll get the kickoff here with just 24 seconds left in the quarter. They also get the kickoff with the wind at their back.
So the Redskins, they are off to exactly the type start that they wanted. Defense has been solid. The offense has had the ball twice, and they've converted both times. Extra point attempt now on the way. Kick is up. It is good with 52 seconds, 24 seconds actually left to go here in this first quarter of play. Union on top, leading it 14-0. As we go down on the sidelines, here is Casey Bowles.
Hey guys, you know, Coach Tom Beck is really telling his guys right now, the last game they had, you know, Tulsa Union was up down 24-12 at one time, so Mustang's not out of this game, and Coach Tom Beck really wants his boys to believe that. I know they're down a little bit with 2 straight drives against him, but again, they can do this, and he's trying to reiterate that to that team that they're still in this game.
Well, that happened last night, Casey. Owasso fell behind the Jinx early. Just similar situation, 14-0 after 2 possessions. But Owasso's defense finally got settled in, and it was a 14-7 or 16-7 game in the fourth, going into the fourth quarter. So that's pretty much the same recipe as Mustang's going to have to dial up here today. As you see, Kirk Frederick, the job he's done at Union, out of Shawnee, where he was an all-state wrestler and football player, played his college ball at TU. Meanwhile, Dom Beck, out of Henrietta, 10 years after Troy Aikman was the quarterback, Dom Beck was the quarterback, played at the University of Wyoming.
He also had a chance to coach Justin Blackman.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about David Parker being one of the most gifted athletes that he's ever coached, along with Justin Blackman. But Parker, we've not been able to see him get the ball enough just yet, as we take a look at that last scoring drive for the Redskins.
No 4th downs on this drive, just big first down plays. And here is Fox on a 3rd down play with the big gain of 20. And then Tyler Atkins getting a great pull block there from his guard, and then scoring from 3 yards out.
Well, we said it was going to be up to Mustang's defense to make a statement. Now it's up to Mustang's offense. They need to come up with something, try to get some points on the board. If nothing else, at least a sustained drive in the first down carry is not going to make it back to the line of scrimmage, as Brown was dropped. A bevy of tacklers there, including number 3 for the Union defense, coming up making the play, Jack Alspaw.
Hey, come here! Alspaw wasn't there on a couple of nice end runs by Brown previously, but obviously they've talked to him, and he stayed home that time as we ended the first quarter.
That's it, 14-0. Union on top, 6A semifinals right here on the Cox Channel, the Cox High School Hub. We'll take a timeout and be right back.
Cox Business Voice Solutions lets you focus on what you do best: running your business. Whether you're in the office, at home, or on the go. This is worry-free, business-grade phone in the cloud. Switch with confidence.
Are you having problems with the IRS? Liens and levies, garnishments, seizures, penalties? Are you being audited? Our trained professionals at Wall & Associates can help. We've helped thousands of individuals and businesses solve their tax problems and save big money.
Having tax issues, it's very scary. I was worried that we would lose our house. When I called Wall & Associates, they were able to meet with me in person, and I never had to talk to the IRS again. It was like this heavy weight was just lifted.
Put a wall between you and the IRS. Wall & Associates has over 30 years of experience dealing with the IRS, and they can help you or your business.
Well, I opened the letter from the IRS, and man, I was shocked. So that's when I decided to call Wall & Associates. They got my levy released within 48 hours.
Call us now for a free consultation. We'll meet with you in person, face-to-face, at an office near you.
Call now, 1-800-580-1605, 1-800-580-1605. We solve tax problems.
Back at Chapman Stadium, Redskin fans, they like what they see to this point. Union on top of Mustang, 14-0. Broncos sideline a little more sedate. They need to get some things going here offensively. They realize that as Garrett drops the throw. Stands in the pocket, but holds on too long, and he is dropped. Sacked on the play. The Union defense getting in there, led by number 10, Malon Al-Jabori.
Well, Linguski gets double teamed. That really frees Jaburi, and he's answered the call for Union off that defensive edge. Another sack there, and as you said, Garrett just hung on to the ball too long.
There's that fine line between being patient and staying in the pocket, and then that and getting sacked. Garrett again became the starter midway through last year, led them into the playoffs. Drops the throw here after that loss. Quick little out pattern is going to get most of that sack yardage back. But that's actually it, as he's going to be stopped dead right at the 20.
And for Mustang, fortunately, they'll have the wind at their back here, so that could help them on this punt. As Union will send back Trey Brown, a very dangerous guy in the open field for Union.
So punting with the wind this time. Standing at his own 5-yard line. Snap is back again. Trouble with it, and it's blocked. Going to be picked up, scoop and score. Touchdown Redskins.
Allspaw picks it up. And again, there's probably no team. I know there's no team in 6A, and I would bet there's probably not a better team in the state of Oklahoma, Steve Marshall, that exploits special teams, your weaknesses, more than Union does. Allspaw picked it up after the block there from Olagolo, who's now blocked 2 punts here in the first half.
Josh Vanoy, the kicker, the punter, had trouble with it, bobbled it, and that's all it took, because obviously Union has seen something, because they have come after all 3 of the punts. And now the Redskins really find themselves in a big situation, a big problem right now, as the extra point is up. And it is good. So just underway here in the second quarter, the Union Redskins striking once again. There's the young man who got the scoop and score, Jack Allspaw, to make it 21-0 in favor of Union.
Mustang today, coming into this game, Steve, had a chance to be the 5th time since what, 01 for a Oklahoma City or a West Side school to make the finals. Mustang did it once before. They're one of 4 schools to have done it.
Yeah, just in 2005 was when Mustang got there. You have to go back to 2001 when Putnam City North made that run against Jenks, and then Edmond Santa Fe in 2003. Those are the only West Side teams since 2000. Everybody always references, Union or Jenks have won the title since 1995, but there's only 4 teams that have made it to the final since 2000. There you see them drying the ball. And you have to really make sure that you handle everything. Mustang's going to get the ball back, but not the way that they wanted. And Coach Dombeck just shaking his head right now. At a loss for words, I'm sure. You prepare all week long. You try to make sure you got everything buttoned up. And once you get out here on the field, sometimes it goes the way you want it to, and sometimes it doesn't. Parker takes the kickoff, makes a couple guys miss, and then he's tackled in the open field and dropped it right at the 20-yard line, and that's where the Broncos will start, 1st and 10.
Good look there at number 12, Ricky Rivera, making the tackle on the special teams. 20-yard line. That's where Mustang has started every drive in this game. Field position certainly has not bode well for the Broncos in this first half.
So now Mustang will come out. Right now it's just a battle of, getting small victories at a time. Garrett steps up, throws. There's a flag thrown by the back judge. And maybe a holding call against the Union secondary. Trying to hook up there with David Parker. The pass was again overthrown.
Casey brought up the point. 30 penalties in the first game. I think there were 2 or 3 there. Actually 27. There's Steve DeVivo, our referee. He's got a great crew with him, and they will take control of this game from the get-go.
Holding on the defense. 10-yard penalty. First down.
So holding is the call against Union. Automatic first down. Broncos now from their own 30. Good look at Chandler Garrett. Barks the signals, hands to Brown. Brown fights forward to get 1 yard. And that's all that's there.
Of course, for those that might not be aware, 6A is splitting into 2 divisions. This is 6A Division I, and congratulations to Mustang, Union, and Owasso. 3 teams from that particular district advancing to the semifinals. That shows you how strong that district was. And Mustang had Owasso and Union both down in the 4th quarter during the regular season. So they're certainly capable of making a game of this yet.
Garrett drops the throw, goes far right side. And no flag on this one. Passes again too tall. So Garrett right now still hasn't settled in, apparently, as most of his throws have been too high for the intended wide receiver. 3rd down and 9. Broncos quickly to the line of scrimmage. Brown in the backfield, pistol formation. Garrett steps in, delivers, and this pass is caught. Nice catch on the near side, and a 1st down for the Mustang Broncos. Mason Brown on the reception. 1st and 10 coming up for Mustang.
Wow, that looked like Josh Cooper there. I mean, you talk about great receivers at Mustang. Nice grab.
That's what Coach Downbeck is wanting to see more of. See if his team can't battle back. Again, another quick out. This one is caught once again. Brown on the reception. Gain of about 5, maybe 6. And just as we said, it looked like Garrett really hadn't settled in. All of his throws were high. Those last 2 right on the money. And a flag comes out. Line judge. So a 5-yard penalty, false start called against Mustang.
Again, they haven't thrown the ball out of the backfield to Brown yet, but he's that's one of their better plays is to leak him out of the backfield.
Stays in the block this time as Garrett rolls right. Throws and the pass too tall. Intended there for number 7, Dylan Duran. So 3rd and 9 coming up. Garrett getting the signals in from the coaching staff for the Mustang Broncos. Checks his playlist on his wrist and is all set to go. See if he can't get this big 3rd and 9 conversion. Duran goes wide to the right. Garrett looking left all the way. Going to throw a jump ball off to the near side. It's caught but out of bounds. Parker caught the pass but was well out of bounds.
You know, we talked of Parker and of Mason Brown. And we mentioned Josh Cooper, an all-state receiver back in 05, the last time Mustang made the state championship. Josh is now a coach on this team. He spent some time with the Browns and Brandon Whedon after they played at OSU with the Cleveland Browns. So Josh is helping out, assisting this team.
So another punting situation. Vanoy. This time Union does not come after it with the win. Low line drive kick. That's going to get inside the 20. And then finally taken down at about the 15-yard line. We'll take a timeout. 9:09 left to go. First half of play of the 6A semifinal. Union leading Mustang. 21-0 our score.
With Cox Business Internet Gateway, you can access the web wirelessly, anywhere inside your business. Worry-free. And it's the fastest in-office Wi-Fi experience available. Switch with confidence.
This message is for all Americans that owe $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS.
Call the number on your screen now and we will contact the IRS on your behalf, help you end wage garnishments, stop collection calls, remove tax liens, get rid of IRS and state tax penalties, and reduce the amount you owe if you qualify.
Let us take the stress of back taxes and the IRS off your shoulders so you can spend time on the important things in your life, like your family or your business. If you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes, call now and find out how we can help you.
Well, as we come back, you take a look at some of the youngsters enjoying High school football here today at Chapman Stadium. While we were away, a late flag came out holding against Union, and that gives Mustang a new set of downs, 1st and 10. And for the first time, they snapped the ball in Union territory, and the pass is caught near side. Reception made there by Dylan Duran. Short gain on the play for Mustang, but as we were starting to say a little while ago, they'll take small victories and hope that they can get a break here or there and get back in this ball game.
And that's got to be so tough when you're so successful during the year. Patience is just a key, Steve, in these games. To not try to overdo it and look for that big play all at once.
Ouch. Big sack there. Union defense in on the quarterback, Garrett. And they dropped him, led by number 9 in there, Lorenzo Thomas, among others.
Even a hold doesn't prevent Union from getting back there. Also back there was 41, Giddings, out of the defensive line position. So tough spot there after second down. Now it's second and medium. Now it's 3rd and long.
Well, they snapped the ball twice in Union territory. Now they're back in their own end of the field. And throw it up. Parker once again back there, and this one's going to be intercepted. Interception taken down by number 25, Trey Brown. And if you're looking for positives out of that, that's almost like a long punt.
Yes, exactly.
It was 3rd and quite long. Garrett throws it up. Brown does a good job as he stays between the receiver and the ball. Parker in on the tackle. And the Redskins will take over 1st and 10 right at their own 20-yard line.
Well, if you're the Mustang defense, you've really got to look for an early Christmas gift here. You really need to try to force a turnover on your side of the ball and try to give your offense some decent field position. As you say, it was the first time they cracked the 50-yard line and unable to do anything with it after the sack.
Been a while since the Redskins had the football. Handoff here goes to number 21. That is Shamari Brooks, the running back. Remember, Union scored, then blocked the punt by Mustang. Scoop and scored on that. So Mustang had the ball right back again. So now the Redskins take over. Just under 8 minutes left to go here before halftime, leading 21-0, seemingly well in control. That's a lateral out to the far side. Shifty move and a great open field tackle. Sliding over is Daniel, number 26 for the Mustang Broncos to make that's Dougherty. Getting over there to make the tackle. Good hustle play.
No kidding. He's the only senior in the secondary. In fact, they only start 5 seniors on this defensive team. So a lot of young players on this Mustang defense.
3rd down and 2 for the Redskins. From their own 28-yard line is Farquhar. Quick slant over the middle, caught. Reception made there by number 15, Zach Fisher. And that'll be good enough for a Redskin 1st down.
Fisher's the guy that is also the backup quarterback. Came in the Mustang game as a quarterback and guided Union to that 4th quarter comeback win.
1st and 10, Redskins. Farquhar down the middle. Pass is caught. Farquhar has been on the money with his throws. Reception there made by number 11, Robert Thomas, their leading receiver. Thomas, 72 catches, 735 yards, 8 touchdowns on the season. As Don said, they like getting the ball in his hands, and you can see why. Good stick as Brooks gets the carry, gets into Mustang territory, but he picked up of only 2 in the play. Number 45 for Mustang in on the tackle there, and that is Cole Daniel.
We had rain here throughout pretty much throughout the morning, and then it lightened up and actually quit, about an hour before kickoff. And a threat of more coming in, but you saw them drying the ball, so that's no problem for either team.
Screen pass underneath. Atkins with the reception. 1st down yardage all the way down to the Broncos' 36-yard line, and they made that look just the way you draw it up. Nice job as they get it to Atkins out of the backfield.
Farquhar so patient as the quarterback.
Thomas goes out wide to the left, top of your screen. And to the bottom is Fisher. Farquhar drops the throw, quick slant again. That pass is complete to Thomas.
Thomas, I think, set the Union single game reception record in the first game of the year, if I remember right, against South Lake Carroll. Had 13 catches in that game.
That's staying busy. Handoff to Atkins. He goes up the middle. Not much, but only needed about 2.5 to get the first down. And he gets enough. Farquhar so far, 9 of 10, 89 yards. I don't know how you figure out that quarterback rating, but that's pretty good.
That's not bad. The computer.
Yes.
You just plug the numbers in the computer and let it do the work for you.
Goes down the middle. Fisher wide open, and he can't hit him. Gave the good pump fake, really had the safety bite. And Fisher found himself wide open right about the goal line, but Farquhar just a little too tall after we just said how efficient he had been. Missed that one. Otherwise, it was an easy 6.
Yeah, he overcooked that one, didn't he? He was a little too impatient on that one.
Clock stop, 5:23 here to go, second quarter. Redskins knocking on the door once again. Farquhar running play, left side. Gets a couple of blocks and scoots out of bounds. They'll spot him at the 22-yard line.
Forced out of bounds by Zach Davis.
Well, to look at this first half, field position has been something. Union scored when they got the ball at midfield in the first half, and then that blocked punt has really set the tone here in the first half.
Yeah, 14-0. You could say, well, we're definitely still in this game. There's still a lot of football to be played, but right now 21-0 with Union threatening once again as Farquhar drops the throw. Quick comeback route, nice pattern run there by Thomas. As he faked as though he was running the streak down the sideline. Stopped, came back, and the pass was right on the money. Check on that reception. That's actually Austin Barnes, wide receiver. So again, Union showing their depth with so many different pieces. Fisher is bottom of your screen, wide right. Thomas is in the slot. And then at the top, it's Austin Barnes as Farquhar looks to throw over the middle. May have been a little early contact, but no flag is out. Pass is incomplete. Defender right there on time.
Nice job by Keontae Miles to knock the ball away on contact. I thought the ball might hang up long enough for somebody to pick it off.
And that's what Mustang is really needing right now. Second down and 10. The ball is on the 14-yard line in Bronco territory. Mason Farquhar there, and his troops leading at 21-0. Motion right, rolling it right. Corner of the end zone, passes there, touchdown. Fisher in the end zone, and the Redskins have scored again.
Well, they just put so much heat on you because of their talented receivers, and Fisher is certainly one of them. I'm always amazed at how the quarterback always has a sense of where the line of scrimmage is, and Farquhar certainly did. Made sure he didn't go over the line of scrimmage for the illegal pass.
So in for the extra point attempt for the 4th time here in this first quarter of play. And the kick is on the way by Jace Holt, and it is good. So 4:46 left to go here in the first half. Union Redskins on top, trying to get back to the state title game once again. They lead Mustang 28-0.
Cox Business Voice Solutions lets you focus on what you do best. Running your business. Whether you're in the office, at home, or on the go. This is worry-free, business-grade phone in the cloud. Switch with confidence.
If your age is between 50 and 85, you probably think you can't afford life insurance. The thought of leaving your family the burden of your final expenses can be stressful, but one simple call to Fidelity Life can provide you and your family with peace of mind. With premiums and coverage amounts guaranteed to stay the same for the life of the policy. There's no medical exam required, and by answering a few simple questions, your coverage can start immediately. Speak with a licensed agent for Fidelity Life today.
Call today, 1-800-929-3570.
Back at Chapman Stadium here on the campus of the University of Tulsa, 28-0. Union Redskins on top. There you can see Kind of some of the despair in David Parker's face, one of the return men. As Union, every time they have had the ball, has marched down and put points on the board. And even when they didn't have the ball, they were able to put points on the board as they blocked the punt and took it in for the touchdown. So Holt set to kick it away from his own 40-yard line into the wind. Drifting back and taking it right at the 3-yard line. That's Parker. Look for a seam. And he gets out across the 25 to the 27-yard line, and that's where the Broncos will start 1st and 10 as we take a look at the scoring drive once again.
Well, the Redskins not having any trouble, obviously only facing 1 3rd down in this past drive, and Tyler Atkins with the screen pass and then the quick down and outs. The Barnes and then the Zach Fisher, and threw it exactly where only Fisher could get to it after the nice 80-yard drive after the interception.
So 1st and 10 from their own 27-yard line. Handoff, Brown, and he gets a yard before he's taken down. Defensive front doing a nice job.
You mentioned the split this year between 6A Division I, 6A Division II. The championship game's already been set for 6A Division II, right? Bigsby in the finals for the 8th time, taking on Lawton.
Should be a good contest. Had the opportunity to see both those teams, both very potent offenses. So that'll be a game worth watching for sure. 2 weeks to come. Here's a pass that's complete. Spinning out of the tackle is number 14, Jacoby Long, and should have enough for the first down for the Broncos.
There's a good look at Jacoby. Of course, came to Mustang with his dad, Terry, who's now the basketball coach after Terry guided Oklahoma City Douglas to several state championships.
Just a handoff to Brown up the middle as he fights to get close to the 40-yard line. Allspaw in on the tackle. Yeah, these two same schools, Union, Mustang, you throw a Putnam City West in there and Edmond Memorial. There'll be teams to watch as they battle for the gold ball in basketball. That'll be coming your way, of course, in mid-March. Gain of 2 as Garrett rolls left, has time, throws a little bit off balance and unable to come down with the reception. Sliding out of bounds was David Parker.
I think Garrett lost his footing as he let it go. Otherwise, the quarterback there might have, he completed it, but it was out of bounds. But still a nice throw by the junior quarterback, despite falling down to his left.
3rd down and 8. Brown comes in motion. Throw it back the other way. Pass is caught, and as soon as it's caught, tackle is made on Bryce Roberts, the big tight end, and he was wrapped up and nowhere to go, Don.
Nowhere whatsoever. Union does such a good job of making the initial tackle. Great open field tackle. Probably as good, if not the best team in the state. And Lorenzo Thomas, one of the reasons why, making the great open field tackle. You very rarely get any yards after the initial contact by the defender for Union.
Looks like a 5th punting situation for Mustang here in the first half. Van Ooy gets this one away in good fashion, retreating with the return, and then knocked out of bounds. Number 25 for the Union Redskins, and that is Trey Brown. As we go down on the sidelines and talk once again to Casey Bowles.
Hey guys, right now the weather is great down here. It is staying pretty dry. However, the second half of this game could be a very, very different game, a very, very wet game. Just enough time for Mustang to go in, recoup, and maybe make this ball game a little bit better in the second half, even though it might be a little bit wetter.
So some storms expected to roll through the Tulsa area. And if you've been paying attention throughout the day, you know that the University of Oklahoma contest was changed from an 11 o'clock kickoff to a 12:30, not so much because of the rain, but because of the lightning that was associated with it. So it can rain, we just don't want to see any lightning slow things down here. Especially if you're a Union Redskin fan, you kind of like the way things are going right now.
They're saying bring on the rain. It's not going to affect them Too much, you wouldn't think, unless they lose the football a few times.
Atkins, nice carry on that first down. Here's a swing pass to Thomas. He's got first down. And a good open field tackle there by the Mustang defense. But not before Thomas is able to get the first down. Line of scrimmage now the 38-yard line.
First down, Redskin.
Thomas goes in motion to the far side of the field. Farquhar to drop. Blitz comes from the corner. He eludes that and circles back the other way. Has time and then throws and passes complete right beyond the first down marker. Fisher is there. And what a great job by Farquhar, and then for Fisher to come back, know where the first down marker is, and make the grab.
Wow, what a magician. I mean, that's just the will to win right there, to succeed. And Farquhar to his left shows you how he can swing the hips and get some mustard on the ball.
Clock stopped with 1:52 left to go here in this first half. First down on the completion. Line of scrimmage now the 48-yard line, still in Union territory. Farquhar has been through these playoffs before. Right now, looking like he's going to get another shot at the Jenks Trojans. Running play, right side, stopped after a 2-yard gain.
Farquhar got hurt in the season opener last season in 2013, so he did not play Jenks here at the Backyard Bowl 2013. First time he met them was in the state championship game last year when Jenks won, and then he redeemed himself by starting the Backyard Bowl and was magnificent in the first meeting between Union and Jenks in week 2.
Gain of 3 on the play, second down and 7 from just inside Mustang territory. Farquhar sets Thomas in motion and then looks, and Fisher's wide open over the middle. Open field tackle, otherwise it's another 6 points.
Zach Fisher on the reception. First down, Union.
Had that single coverage at the top of the field, and Farquhar put it right on the money. Take a look there as Fisher with the reception and then a nice tackle in the open field. And again, Union line of scrimmage is going to be at the 17-yard line.
I was surprised that Fisher didn't use the receiver downfield to set up a block for him. We have an injury on the field too, as you're watching this game on the hub. And 54, Carlos Barrios, an offensive lineman, a sophomore, is down on the field for Union. Again, they've had some injuries with this offensive line. Davis Harker, their center, went out earlier this year, but has come back. And then Dalton Briggs, who some consider their best offensive lineman, out what appears to be the rest of the season.
Yeah, you hate to see injuries of any type. And Barrios right now down on the field. His Union teammates have taken to the sidelines. And sometimes you hope, you always hope that it's just precautionary measures, that they're keeping him down, and there's nothing better than to see the guy then get up and able to walk off the field under his own power. This gives us an opportunity to remind you that there's no better website for Oklahoma high school sports fans than the CoxHSHub.com. And of course, you can go there and view this game later tonight and anytime tomorrow as well. CoxHSHub.com, and look for special features, highlights, game replays, interviews, and fan photos. Your number one source for high school sports coverage from around the state of Oklahoma, CoxHSHub.com. And there you see the good sign we were talking about, although he's walking a little tenderly. Barrios is up and going off almost under his own power.
There you see Dan Newman, the trainer for Union, and they are associated, Union Schools here, with Eastern Oklahoma Orthopedic and Sports Medicine Center, one of the sponsors here on the Cox Channel. And certainly we want to issue our thoughts and prayers with the Eoc family, who lost a very good retired doctor, Bruce Stivers, who was very big with TU sports and also Bishop Kelly and other high schools He'd retired several years ago, but passed away today.
Here's a pass to tight end Holt, who's wide open off the line of scrimmage and into the end zone. Holton Fox with the reception and the touchdown for the Redskins to extend their lead.
He's a tough guy to cover. He's so big. And, of course, Union, when Bill Blankenship was the head coach, really instituted the tight end as well as any program in 6A, if not in the state of Oklahoma. And they've just continued to have great tight ends over the years at Union.
So Holton Fox gets into the end zone. Makes it a 27-0 lead, or 34-0 lead. And now 35 with the extra point. With 1:06 left to go in this first half of play, the Union Redskins look like they have all but punched their ticket to the championship finals 2 weekends from today. Whether or not that would be a Friday or Saturday game is yet to be determined. And I was commenting to you earlier as I was looking at some of these. You talked about the 6A2 matchup, Bixby and Lawton High. The teams that are still live in 5A, Ardmore will play Skiatook, McAllister will play MacArthur. In 4A, it'll be Metro Christian against Wagner and Oologah against Fort Gibson. Other than Mustang here in this game today, there's no other Oklahoma City school that's in the playoffs beyond this weekend other than the Mustang Broncos. You've got Lawton High, of course, Western Oklahoma, as well as Lawton MacArthur, Ardmore from the south. But very interesting, the absence of any Oklahoma City schools this year.
And what a shocker in 4A. Metro Christian out of Tulsa going to Anadarko and beating that team, although they were banged up a bit. Anadarko had the longest winning streak in the state snapped last night, and of course the defending champs.
Yeah, they really had decimated by injuries down the stretch. 2 all-state defensive players, a wide receiver. I'm trying to make excuses for them, but they've had their run. There's no question about that. I think they were 52-1 over the last couple of seasons with state championships and 3 of the last 4 years. Here's the kick. Going deep and going to be taken at the 6-yard line. Drop, pick back up. Oh, Parker having trouble with it. Still can't put a handle on it. And now the Broncos will start from inside their own 5-yard line.
Wow, sometimes when you bobble at one time, you really help yourself, but too many bobbles here. Here's the scoring drive. What a pass to Fisher. And, of course, getting tackled into the open field. That didn't stop Farquhar again over the middle to the big tight end. There you see 75 yards, 6 plays. Didn't take him long, and Farquhar is having a solid game today, no question.
So the Broncos will come out with just less than a minute to play here in this first half.
Farquhar's run for a touchdown and now thrown for 2.
Handoff. The wide receiver trying to get to the corner. And he'll get maybe a yard. That's it.
You know, one of the things that has made Jinx and Union so good over the years is their lateral speed on defense. It's just almost impossible to run on them sideline to sideline, and that was a good example right there.
Well, if you're up scouting this team, as we saw Coach Trimble and his group, they were here, still here. Because they know about each other all too well, but as you said, you just can't find any weaknesses offensively, defensively, special teams for this ball club.
And of course, they've been here quite a few times, obviously, on this field at the University of Tulsa. Mustang, again, when they faced Union in the 05 championship, that was in Norman at the University of Oklahoma, so they haven't not familiar with the surroundings, whereas Jinx is going to be in the finals for the 16th time in the last 19 seasons, and Union's trying to get there for the 13th time in the last 16 seasons.
.50 seconds left to go after that incomplete pass. 3 in the play clock. And they're going to take a timeout. Because right now, you know, Union's going to treat this last 50 seconds as though they still want to get as many points on the board as possible.
You bet.
And if they don't get a complete pass and a first down here, the punter will be standing on the back of the end zone.
And Union still has some timeouts left, have 2 timeouts left, so Don't think just because they have a 35-0 lead that if they get the ball, they're going to put a couple of knees down and call it a half. That would be very unlike Union, because they still feel they want to work on a 2-minute offense here at the end of the half.
Hey, nearly 80% of teachers give homework assignments online, yet some families don't have internet access at home. Cox and Connect to Compete are partnering to bring affordable internet to qualifying low-income families. To learn more, contact your school or call 1-855-222-3252. That's 855-222-3252. Look at some of the students enjoying the game today. As you said earlier, it's at least not raining, although that is predicted to hit the Tulsa area here before too very long.
I think the Union High Steppers were scheduled to perform here at halftime, but that won't be the case, more than likely because of the threat of weather.
3rd and 10, Garrett stands on his own goal line, running play up the middle, and out across the 10 to about the 11-yard line. And it looks like a little extracurricular after that play.
Mustang in the playoffs 9 of the last 11 seasons, Steve. The last time they advanced to the semifinals was again in 2010. So it's not like they've certainly not accustomed to being in the postseason. They've done a nice job, and Coach Dombeck in his second year taking over for Ty Prestige, who of course guided them to the semifinals in 2010, and now Ty's son Cliff is the quarterback's coach for this Mustang program.
Ty going over to Choctaw with his former coach, Todd Dilbeck. He's over there and helping Choctaw get it to the postseason this year. During this timeout, let's check in once again with Casey Bowles.
Hey guys, as the game goes on, you're starting to see a lot more frustration over here on the Mustang Broncos side. Even at the whistle blows, you're seeing a lot of contact still, just a lot of frustration out there. Again, whistle blows and these boys aren't stopping. So hopefully these coaches can calm them down a little bit before the second half starts so we can get a little bit better game going.
Thanks, Casey. Appreciate that. Union, as we speculated, wants to take this opportunity to get some more points on the board. At no time do you ever want your team to feel like the game is over, even though you're up by 35 points with still 2 quarters of football yet to play. But they both know the bigger picture, what lies ahead 2 weeks from now when you have a likely rematch with the Jenks Trojans. And you want to make sure that everybody is focused between now and then.
The OSSAA will certainly try and confirm this again, but it has been reported that if it is Union and Jenks, it will be played here on Friday, December 5th.
Van Noy stands midway into the end zone. Just does get the kick away. It's a high kick. Wind does take it a bit. Hits at the Bronco 40-yard line and is down at about the 39. And Union will get it with just 33 seconds left.
You remember there's a rule, and I know Ron Lancaster did it. I'm not quite sure what team it was. It might have been Jenks when he was the head coach at Jenks in the early 90s. But when you call for a fair catch, and if the clock is, you still have a free play at the end of the half to where you can kick a field goal if you call a fair catch at the end of the half.
On a direct kick,
yeah.
And the defense can't contest it.
Right.
It's been a while since I've seen one of those.
Exactly.
At the 39-yard line, Union leading at 35-0. Handoff going to the far side of the field and driven out of bounds, losing his helmet actually. Tough tackle on the far side. On Tyler Adkins, number 22. And you get to watch the replay as he gets outside and then gets driven to the ground, losing his headgear.
Nice hit there by number 91. Doing a textbook job there tackling. That's Donovan Dumas, backup nose guard. Atkins has put up some big numbers, Steve, over the years because he played as a freshman, as a backup freshman. He's just a junior.
Farquhar drops to throw, screen pass, and as he's catching it, he is being tackled at the very same time. Number 45 in on the tackle for the Mustang Broncos, doing a nice job there reading that. Cole Daniel.
That was Brooks, the backup running back, who's in now, sophomore.
Not sure, did that pass fall incomplete or why did the clock stop?
Yes, apparently so.
Okay. I never saw the ball come out. I just thought it was a good tackle in the play. So incomplete pass was the ruling. Third down, Farquhar dumps it over the middle. And the pass once again caught by the big tight end, Holton Fox. Stop the clock here to move the chains because it's a Union first down with 17 seconds remaining in the first half of play. Restart the clock, Farquhar. Brooks in the backfield with him, going to throw the corner route, end zone, perfect throw on the money, and he's got his feet inbounds for the touchdown. What a grab there by number 10, Austin Barnes. What a throw by Farquhar.
That was pretty. Talk about dropping it right in for Barnes. And again, nothing unusual. He looked over at Barnes. Barnes looked at him, and you just kind of knew they were going to go that way because he had single coverage. And with just 4 seconds left on the clock, when they lined up, there was 17 seconds left on the clock, and you knew they were probably going to go for the end zone on that particular play.
As you said, no defensive help over the top. One-on-one situation. Holt knocks it through, and now it's 42-0. Union on top of Mustang with just 4 seconds left to go here in this first half of play.
How about number 7? He looks like number 7 for the Broncos, John Elway, back in the day. 3 touchdown passes, and he's run for 1.
Been outstanding.
Yep.
And as you mentioned, a lot of teams are blessed to have 2 good receivers. We've seen their depth at the receiver position today, including the tight end in that recipe. So many different options, and when you're a defense, you can't really concentrate on just shutting one guy down or taking one side of the field away, because you've got guys running all over the place that really are well coached and know exactly what they're doing and where to go to on the field.
Well, if you've got let's say 2 of your 4 secondary players are all staters, so you are going to match up your 2 best defenders who can clamp down on the top 2 Union receivers. But that still leaves that Union 3rd and 4th receiver is going to be better than your 3rd and 4th defenders, and that's where Union and some of the other teams take such great advantage in winning as many games as they do.
17 of 21, 208 yards, 3 touchdown passes on the afternoon for Farquhar. Well, he is getting it done today.
It's always been a tradition on Thanksgiving for all the teams that get to the semifinals to practice on Thanksgiving morning. I know it's always been a tradition for Union and Jinx, and a lot of the former players who now play in college and had played in college come back on that particular morning to visit with the current team.
Kickoff return by Parker out across the 22 to 21 yard line.
So this year, you've got a week off. Obviously, they're not going to take the week off, but it'll be interesting to see what kind of format that Coach Fred, if they get there, and Coach Turnbull will use this week on Thanksgiving Day.
All right, first half comes to an end, and that picture right there, David Parker, wide receiver for the Mustang Broncos, kind of tells you the story, as it has been all Union in this first half. They started early, and they did not let up. 42-0 is your score. We're at halftime of the 6A semifinal matchup between Union and Mustang, and of course the winner will get the Jenks Trojans. And they won their game last night by a final score of 42-14 over Owasso to earn their berth in the championship finals. 42-0 is our score. Let's go down to the sidelines, and once again, Casey Bowles standing by. Casey?
Hey guys, I am here with Coach Frederick. Congratulations, what a great first half for your boys. Going into the second half, you might have a little bit of weather issues. What are your thoughts?
Well, it's good to have a lead, I guess, if the weather gets bad, but I couldn't be more proud of our kids. They're playing well, representing their school well. I knew they had a great week of practice, and it's always fun when you prepare like that and then it gets to come out and execute. I'm very proud of our guys.
So pretty much same game plan second half?
We'll continue to play football as long as they'll let us.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks, Casey. Appreciate it. Kind of says it all right there. 42-0. And again, this is a matchup that had Mustang winning into the fourth quarter just 3 weeks ago. We'll talk more about that. Don't forget, you've got your Oklahoma Farm Bureau Insurance Halftime Show. The same Farm Bureau that you've always trusted, now even better. That's coming up as the Union Redskins are on top of Mustang in this 6A semifinal matchup right here on the Cox Channel.
With Cox Business Internet Gateway, you can access the web wirelessly, anywhere inside your business. worry-free. And it's the fastest in-office Wi-Fi experience available. Switch with confidence.
Jim is 38, mortgage, married, 3 great kids. He wants to protect his family with a $500,000 term life insurance policy. What do you think it'll cost him? $100 a month? 60? 40? Actually, none of the above. Jim can get a $500,000 policy from a highly rated insurer for under $21 a month. His secret? SelectQuote. SelectQuote is impartial. They'll comparison shop the pick of insurance companies like these to give you a choice of your best prices. SelectQuote has great savings on term life for women, too. Jim's wife, Deidre, can get a $500,000 policy for under $16 a month. SelectQuote has helped make term life insurance affordable for hundreds of thousands of people since 1985. How about you? Just call this number or go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Attention homeowners. Taking a bath in your high-wall tub is an accident waiting to happen. But now, you can turn your existing tub or shower into a safe, easy entry tub in just one day. With no tub walls to climb over, just open the door and walk right in. And for a limited time, save $1,500 and be one of the first 100 callers to get a free gift with purchase.
Call 1-800-731-8862. That's 1-800-731-8862.
The Ford High School Game of the Week is brought to you by your Oklahoma Ford dealers, the best in Oklahoma. MidFirst Bank, Eastern Oklahoma Orthopedic and Sports Medicine Center, Tulsa Tech, TTCU, the Credit Union, the Muskogee Creek Nation, and by the Oklahoma Farm Bureau, the same Farm Bureau you've always trusted, now even better.
And welcome back once again. It is your Oklahoma Farm Bureau Insurance Halftime Show, the same Farm Bureau that you have always trusted, now even better. And we're back at Chapman Stadium. Steve Marshall, Don King, joined now by David Jackson from the Oklahoma Secondary Schools Activities Association. 42-0 is our score with Union on top of Mustang right now. And David, so happy to have you with us. And you know, this that time of the year again where we're getting deeper into postseason and time for you guys to figure out who's going where and how the schedule bears out. You got anything you can tell us along those lines?
Well, one, yes, thank you for having me here. It's always a fun time of year when we're deep in the playoffs, and even though it's a lot of work to try to figure out the puzzle of the wins and the wheres that we're going to play, it's like Christmas for us because we enjoy this. And what I can tell you right now, that the way things are looking with this game and Jinx's win last night, we'll probably be back here in a couple of weeks for the Division I championship game with Bixby and Lawton in the Division II game. We're probably going to play it in the Oklahoma City area. I feel like that's probably best with those two teams. So it'll probably be in Oklahoma City, somewhere around there. The wins of those games is still to be worked on, but hopefully we can play those games to where people can get a chance to see both.
And then on the 5A semifinals, you're looking for neutral sites there. Any decisions there yet?
Well, yeah, we have set those. If I can remember those games, we've got McAllister and MacArthur
right,
and on one side of that bracket, and we'll play that at Choctaw High School next Friday night. And then the other side, that'll pit Skytook, which has been a surprise this year. They've got a really good football team playing Ardmore, and we'll play that game out at Yukon High School next Friday night. So got a lot of good matchups, and those sites that I just mentioned, Choctaw, Yukon, obviously here, we've got some really good venues to play those games, and that's one thing that we try to do this time of year is put the schools in the best venues that we can, and we've really got some exceptional sites, and and those schools, those administrators and coaches step up, and they like hosting those games. So it really works out well, and it helps make our job a little easier when they do that.
I know football, of course, is still have a couple more weeks before everything is wrapped up there. So some of the winter sports have already gotten underway: wrestling, swimming, basketball, in some cases. Any news on that front? Any changes or anything? Or how's everything going so far as winter sports are concerned?
No, the winter sports are off to a good start so far. The basketball and wrestling seem to be off to a really good start now. In a lot of cases, they're waiting on their football players to get there, but nothing major going on right now. We're of course, obviously, we're already, even though we're early into the seasons, we're planning for the postseasons and the state championships and those activities, because you get through the holiday breaks and all that stuff is right up on you. So where they're just getting started with their seasons, we're planning for the postseason, and hopefully those postseasons will go as well as football has and the other fall activities.
6A has split to Division I and Division II. Bigsby and Lawton, as you mentioned, Lawton, one of the 4 schools with over 700 wins in their on their resume in the state of Oklahoma. But what's your thoughts on the split? It seems like it's gone very well.
I'll tell you what, it really has. I think a lot of people went in not knowing, how this was going to play out. But what we have seen is a lot of energized schools, communities with this Division II, and it's really been neat to see people rally around their schools during football season when this might not otherwise happen. So going into the season, honestly, we didn't know what to expect, but it's really so far turned out to be a neat thing.
I know the excitement in places like Choctaw this year, where they hadn't even made the playoffs since 1984, and had a very successful season. Lawton has always been a team that has been able to compete, even though they are in the 6A2 right now, and now they're going to be playing for the gold ball. So I think that's evidence of, as you said, the communities being energized too.
Absolutely, and that's really, really neat to see, because the benefit is in those schools that they get to experience that kind of excitement and that kind of rallying of their communities, and it's really been fun to watch.
Not only athletics, but the OSSAA also governs other activities in high school. I know debate and the academic bowl is something that Steve's been a part of over the years. So you guys govern quite a few things going on.
We do, and I tell you what, we are just as proud of our involvement in the activities as we are athletics. Mike Plunkett, who handles most of our fine arts and non-athletic activities, really takes great pride in it, and he'll tell you that we've got probably as many students involved in non-athletic activities as we do the athletic activities, and that's something that we're really proud of, is that we are able to provide some opportunities, not just athletic activities for students, but some activities that non-athletes are able to get involved in, take some pride in. And that's really something that again, we take a lot of pride in. Not every state association like ours is an activities association. As a matter of fact, probably the majority of them are athletic associations. So we really take a lot of pride in the fact that we do sponsor non-athletic activities.
And just for clarity's sake, I participated in the Academic Bowl as a host, not as a participant. Yes. I think that needs to be clarified, most definitely. Anything else before we let you go here at halftime of this game here that we need to know about, or that you need to let the folks know about?
No, we're going to continue to work on our football schedule and get that set as soon as we can, get this game played, and we're going to have that posted on our webpage probably later on today as we can get things worked out. So we encourage people to go to our webpage and watch for those schedules, and hopefully people can make plans. we hope that the 6A people are aware that no Thanksgiving game.
That's right.
We will be off in Class 6A next week, and we'll take a bye, and then they'll come back and play their championship games on that weekend of 5-6, December 5-6.
All right. Well, David, as always, a pleasure to have you come by and visit with us a little bit. Keep us updated on things that are going on at the OSSAA. We certainly appreciate it.
My pleasure.
All right, David Jackson joining us here at halftime. It's your Oklahoma Farm Bureau Insurance halftime show. Thanks to David Jackson. Our score has Union on top of Mustang, 42-0. We'll take a timeout and continue with our halftime show right after this.
Cox Business Voice Solutions lets you focus on what you do best. Running your business. Whether you're in the office, at home, or on the go. This is worry-free, business-grade phone in the cloud. Switch with confidence.
US Med has great news for anyone living with diabetes.
If you have Medicare, private insurance, or prescription drug coverage, US Med will ship a new glucose meter right to your home.
And shipping is free.
My new meter uses only a speck of blood.
Act now, and US Med will include a free prescription discount card. We'll also send you a free diabetes cookbook. This is your opportunity.
So call US Med today.
You'll be glad you did.
I'm David Boren, President of the University of Oklahoma. With inspired education comes great opportunities and meaningful lives. With inspired research comes better health and economic growth. The University of Oklahoma College of Pharmacy has provided inspiration for the lives, careers, and futures of thousands of graduates. Our students are inspired to succeed by an excellent faculty, challenging curriculum, the support of a committed peer group, and access to tens of thousands of dollars in endowed scholarships. Our faculty members produce inspired opportunities by procuring millions of dollars in clinical and basic science research funding. With campuses in Oklahoma City and Tulsa, the University of Oklahoma College of Pharmacy is ready to inspire your future. Inspired education, inspired opportunities, inspired research, inspired careers. The University of Oklahoma College of Pharmacy, your prescription for inspiration.
And your Oklahoma Farm Bureau halftime show. The Oklahoma Farm Bureau, the same Farm Bureau that you have always trusted, now even better. Thanks so much to the good folks at the Oklahoma Farm Bureau for sponsoring our halftime show, where right now our halftime score has Union on top of Mustang by a score of 42-0. So they look like they are all set to go back and get that rematch with the Jenks Trojans. And as we talked about people that are watching, whether you're watching in-home or in-state or in-country, this is Randall Loki. He's at home, and he's got his computer hooked up to his TV, and he's watching the game. Cox HS Hub. You just get that HDMI cable, hook it up from your computer to your TV. That's for all those tech-savvy people out there, Don. But Coach Loki is one of those folks, and hopefully, if you're watching the game right now on the Cox High School Hub, you can relay the message to everybody else that you know, that maybe a relative, grandson, or maybe one of the cheerleaders is cheering today, that you can always go to the CoxHSHub.com, catch the latest in games and replays and photos, and then hook it up to your large screen TV and watch the game.
Not a bad way to do it, is it? And Coach Loki, we miss you not being here.
And he took a deserved weekend off as we are at Chapman Stadium here in Tulsa. And we, of course, are bringing you all the action here today as the 6A semifinals. Jenks won last night 42-14, and right now it looks all the world like they will be taking on the Union Redskins once again in the state championship final. We're going to take a break during this Farm Bureau Insurance halftime show. Come back, take a look at the highlights and the stats from the first half of play. We'll be right back.
It's not just a phone. It's your connection to peace of mind and safety for your home and family.
That's why Cox offers Lifeline telephone service to make home phone incredibly affordable for qualified customers. You get unlimited local phone calls, plus enhanced 911 service for just $1 a month, all from a name you trust. Connect your world to the world with $1 Lifeline telephone service from Cox.
This is important news for women diagnosed with ovarian cancer. Talcum powder may have caused your ovarian cancer. According to many studies, long-term use of talcum powder in products such as baby powder or shower-to-shower for feminine hygiene is linked directly to ovarian cancer. If you have been diagnosed with ovarian cancer, or if a loved one died from ovarian cancer after using baby powder or shower-to-shower products containing talcum powder, you may have a right to a cash award and medical expenses. According to testimony in court, a leading baby powder company knew decades ago about the link between their baby powder and ovarian cancer, but failed to warn women of the danger. If you are an ovarian cancer victim, or if a loved one died from ovarian cancer after using talcum powder, call the law offices of Davis & Crump at the number below right now to find out if you are eligible for a cash award and medical expenses. Call the law offices of Davis & Crump right now. Our first consultation is free, and we don't get paid unless you get paid. Call now. Operators are standing by.
Endless pools are an incredible alternative to traditional pools, making it easy and inexpensive to swim at home. Call our toll-free number or visit our website for a free idea kit. Endless pools are simple to install, easy to maintain, and economical to run. Swim or exercise against a smooth current that adjusts to any speed or ability. Perfect for year-round health, fitness, and relaxation. Call our toll-free number or visit our website for your free Endless Pools idea kit.
The Oklahoma Farm Bureau Insurance Halftime Show. The same Farm Bureau that you've always trusted, now even better. Halftime score, 6A semifinal. Union on top of Mustang. They are well in control as they lead it 42-0. Steve Marshall, Don King. Producer-director Randy Carson. We've got Casey Bowles on the sidelines, Don, and here come the highlights rolling your way as we run down this first half that has Union on top, leading it 42-0.
Well, it was the Mason Farquhar show. This is the first drive of the game, and they converted a couple of fourth down plays in order to get this nice drive. They got a short punt from Mustang to set up this first touchdown, starting at midfield. There's a catch by Deontay Calvert, and then Farquhar powering his way to the end zone to give the Union team a 7-0 lead, and then they showed you why they're number one. They got the ball right back, and Tyler Atkins showing you why he is so tough, right up the middle on another long drive. And Farquhar finds Holton Fox on a big 3rd down and 4 play, down to the 6. And it's number 22 again. Their leading rusher on the season, and after one quarter, 14-0. We go the other way, and Farquhar's back to work again. Over 200 yards passing in the first half, and he finds Zach Fisher there. And you think the scoring was done at 28-0? No. They come back for more. Zach Fisher, the backup quarterback, who also plays receiver. In fact, he quarterbacked Union to come back win over Mustang earlier in the season. Fisher again with a long play, setting up yet another score.
Zach Fisher on the reception.
And to Holton Fox, the tight end. And you thought they were done there at 35-0 until they stopped the clock with seconds left and threw the fade into the end zone, and they get 42-0 here at halftime.
So look at the highlights here. Farm Bureau Insurance Halftime Show, the same Farm Bureau you've always trusted, now even better. Now we'll look at those first half stats. You can see the rushing yards in favor of the Redskins. Passing, well, they've got that well under control. And then you look at the total yards, and that pretty much tells the story right there. Union has moved the ball at will, and they have been very stingy on the defensive side of things. 307 to 74 in total yards, and everything else kind of tells you everything. 42-0 our score. Union on top of Mustang. We'll take a timeout and be right back with more right after this break.
Cox has doubled the speed of our internet, so we will stream with abandon.
We will shop online for colorful duct tape while streaming True Blood on HBO Go and watching random tutorials.
Watch the kale, please.
We will stream the game. No,
We will stream the games.
We will watch a bunch of videos about peregrine falcons because they are the fastest animals alive.
We are
Cox customers.
And we are now
twice as fast.
We are doubling internet speeds. Learn more today at cox.com/internet.
Are you having problems with the IRS? Our trained professionals here at Wallen Associates have over 30 years experience helping individuals and businesses solve their tax problems.
Having tax issues, it's very scary. I was worried that we would lose our house. When I called Wallen Associates, they were able to meet with me in person, and I never had to talk to the IRS again.
Call now for a free consultation. We'll meet with you in person, face-to-face, at a local office near you.
Call now 1-800-461-6622. We solve tax problems.
42-0, Union on top of Mustang. Both teams back out on the field, going through their mandatory 3-minute stretching period. Let's go down to Casey Bowles real quick. Casey?
Hey guys, I am here with Coach Dombeck. Coach Dombeck, of course, not the first half that you wanted, I know. Going into the locker room, what do you tell your boys and what adjustments do you make going into the second half?
Well, you know, I just told them nobody expected this. We didn't as coaches, they didn't as players, and the fact of the matter is Union's putting it to us right now. And we made adjustments just like we do it any other game, but, you know, it's playing for ourselves now. You know, I was honest with them. I told our seniors the reality is we've got 24 minutes left. And it's up to them to do with it what they want, and we're still going to coach hard, and our kids will play hard.
That's all you can ask. Good luck to you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Jeremy
Dombeck, as Casey said, not the first half that he was looking for or that anybody probably expected, as those two teams battled 30-24. Union with the come-from-behind victory in the fourth quarter over Mustang back on Halloween. And I know a lot of the reports in the Oklahoma City paper were saying that, you know, that game showed Mustang that, hey, we can play with Union. We were there. We had them. And I'm sure there were some people on the east side thinking, you know, probably not. And maybe they expected a little something, maybe not to this extent, but I know lots of folks that I talked to felt that, you know, that Mustang would battle. And as Coach Dombeck said, these last two quarters are what the seniors want it to be and how they want to remember closing out their high school careers.
And then you also have to think that you can get some younger players here, some sophomores and juniors, some underclassmen, get them some playing time in this second half, get them accustomed to being in a state championship game, and set your sights on the future. Because Mustang came into this season predicted as just the 5th best team in their district, and finished 3rd in the district, and here they are in the semifinals. So despite the fact that it appears they'll lose this game, still a very good season in just his second year for Jeremy Dombeck and Mustang.
Well, and, you know, you put things into perspective. We talked about, you know, Union is in the finals almost every year. If you go to Union High School or Jenks High School, you get that experience probably all 4 years of your high school career. And for Mustang, last time the Broncos made it to a state championship finals, most of these guys on the field here today were still not 10 years old. They, you know, Mustang did the Broncos in 2005, and it's not something, you know, you dream about it. You think you can perform on the big stage, but when that day finally comes, you can't help but get the big eye because you've never been there before. Right. And you saw Coach Dombeck right there having some last words with his kids as he sent them back out on the field, and we'll see how well they play here in the second quarter. And knowing a little bit about the Mustang program and some of the folks, the coaching staff there, athletic director Chuck Bailey, these guys will go out and give it all they've got, and let's see if they can't get a couple scores on the board and maybe get back in this ball game in some way or some shape.
Well, you know, the Big Four, as they are known, the 4 largest schools in the state on the eastern side of the state, Jenks, Broken Arrow, Union, and Owasso, have really dominated things over the past several years, the last 10 seasons, against the Oklahoma City area schools. Those 4 schools are combined 99-4 against those schools, and I think there's certainly some disappointment on the western side and some envy, as you would expect. Union has the longest winning streak, 42 straight against teams from the Oklahoma City area.
Here's the kickoff to start the second half, and the ball carrier is brought down on the kickoff return. Number 9, Lorenzo Thomas, fielded that. And I'll add one more note to that. Other than Broken Arrow and Jenks and Union, I believe it was Mustang that had the most wins in the last 10 years. of those schools. So Mustang is doing their part and continue to build all their sports programs, not just the football program, but you can see that making the playoffs the last couple years as you take a look at the numbers that Farquhar had in that first half of play. This is just one game, and you build on it from the basketball, the wrestling, and the swimming season, take it into the spring sports, and see what happens when it all shakes out. Second half underway. Redskins with the football. Quick pass to the slot receiver, Thomas, on the far side of the field. He's wrestled down at about the 38-yard line. Picks up 5 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 5.
Well, you bring up also a good point that Union and Jinx have been there so many times. You look at it, here's a senior class for Union and Jinx that will now have played in basically 12 more games through their high school career than most teams get.
That's right. It's like another whole season. Like you were able to redshirt some of these guys. Pass play. Receiver not looking.
Don't start that rumor.
And here comes, that's Devontae Calvert. The pass on the far side. Incomplete. And that'll bring up 3rd down and 5.
You know, it is certainly appears to be Jinx and Union in 6A, but how about Bigsby and Lawton playing for a state championship? That's going to be fun, and in a couple of weeks as well, as David alluded to. And then you got Skytook, who's had a great season, and they're the #1 team in their class.
Pass on the far side, caught there. Reception again is made by Austin Barnes. Now, I was at the Lawton and Bixby game last night, and spent some time in Southwest Oklahoma, and know still some of the coaches that coach for Lawton. Excited to see them. Talked to Coach Dantzler from Booker T before that contest, and as David Jackson alluded to at halftime, it's renewed some energy in those communities that now, before, really didn't have a chance to play for a gold ball, and now that's exactly what those two schools will be doing here in 2 weeks. Running play Atkins, look at his powers. He gets 8-9 yards when it looked like he was going to get 3 or 4.
And that's something you would expect them to do a lot of, and that's running the football here in the second half, leading 42-0. And you see the replay. He is just so strong, man.
So 2nd and 1 for the Redskins. Opening drive of this second half. Atkins again spinning forward and getting just a couple of yards, but all he needed was 1, and that's going to be another Redskin first down. Ardmore and Skytook, McAllister, and I don't know if you've seen any highlight of their quarterback, Dalton Wood. 6'5", he's already agreed to go to OU, verbally committed as a tight end, and when he gets the ball and takes that direct snap in the backfield, takes off. Wow, is he a load to bring down. Farquhar going to keep it himself and get down after a gain of about 3 or 4.
Again, nothing fancy for Union, continuing to just run their play, stay within themselves, not try to do too much. Over the last 17 seasons now, how about their district play? 117-2. The 2 losses were to Owasso in 2011 and 2012.
Farquhar to throw, looking down the middle, just waiting for somebody to get open. It's Calvert in the end zone and a touchdown for the Redskins. All day to throw for Farquhar as he just waited for Calvert to break open. Finally did, and then he was on the money. Another touchdown pass for Mason Farquhar as you take a look at a Redskin touchdown replay.
You would wonder if we'll start seeing some of the backups here after this series. But then again, you've got a week off next week, so maybe you will see the starters in most of this third period. We'll find out.
Extra point attempt. Snap back, ball down, kick up, and it is good. Union extends their lead now 49-0. 9:37 left to go here. Third quarter of the 6A semifinal contest. And Union, I don't know what the exact stats are, but it seems like every time they've had the football, they've been able to find the end zone. Let's go down to Casey Bowles once again. Casey?
Hey guys, Dombeck did say that going into the second half, knowing that Union did have the ball first, it was really important for his guys to get that first stop, and I know that's unfortunate for them. But again, all they're really wanting is a little bit of momentum. And I know Union right now, everything's going their way. Mustang just needs a little momentum to get them going.
Let's hope for their sake that they do get something going here offensively. Got seniors on this ball club for Mustang. Chase Brown, a couple of the guys on the defensive side of the football that not too many kids go on to play collegiate football, so this is, in some cases, the final football game they may ever play.
You bet. And even though it's got to be a disappointing outcome, still, when you look back over as the days move forward, you have to be very proud of what they've been able to accomplish. And if you know Coach Dombeck, he's not going to settle for this either. He's going to continue to push this program as he did at Edmond North.
Kick will go into the end zone, automatic touchback, and they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line.
The Broncos will start 1st and 10 at their 20-yard line.
We mentioned some of the other classes and the matchups in 4A. If you're just joining us, it'll be Metro Christian, who, as Don mentioned, knocked off Anadarko. They will take on Wagner's. You take a look at that scoring drive.
Well, again, able to do things on 3rd down. Here's a 3rd and 4 to Austin Barnes for 8 yards. And then the bomb to Calvert, who again came up with 2 huge catches in the game against Mustang and the come from behind victory for Union on Halloween.
Broncos get the football from their own 20-yard line. Redskins show blitz and then back off. Pass is complete. About a 6-yard pitch and catch. Reception made there for Mustang by number 18, Jacob Lemons. He's a junior.
One of the linemen backed in to Garrett a little bit. He's hobbling a bit from the right knee, it appears.
Number on Garrett so far in this football game. Handoff to Chase Brown, and he'll get about a yard, and that's it. Defense has been really tough. Maybe the best drive of the first half was the opening drive for Mustang. They got a couple first downs. Looked like they might be able to run the football, but we did the Union Southmore game earlier on the Cox Channel this year, and Southmore was right there with them at halftime, made some adjustments, and then shut down that Southmore offense. So, again, you don't just get lucky and win or play for state championships. You learn and make adjustments and go on and get victory. There's a pass that's complete. That's going to be to Roberts, and that's going to be enough for a first down for the Broncos.
Well, this guy is a huge target for Chandler Garrett, the quarterback.
Roberts just a junior. As you take a look, Garrett starting to scramble and then decides to get it to the big guy there, and he knocks a couple of guys flying. Somebody lost a helmet. And a first down for the Mustang Broncos. 6'6", 230. Oof. Good to see a lot of Garrett as he goes to that DeBartolo Sports University quarterback camp that comes to Oklahoma City every year, a couple times a year, as a matter of fact. There's a handoff to the left side that goes nowhere.
And there's Alspaw. Remember, he really made the tackle there, along with number 10 there, Ali Jabori, and of course, very good defensive lineman off the end for Al Jaburi. And Hallsball, number 3, really set the tone of this game with the touchdown off the block punt.
Here comes the blitz. Garrett in trouble, is able to get away, stops, and then just tries one too many moves. He's going to be dropped again. And that looked like a coverage sack, if nothing else, because Garrett got away, looked like he broke free and had some additional time, and still none of the receivers were able to break open.
Seth Mishler, their linebacker, who is one of their team leaders in tackles, has been a great 2-year starter for them.
Chandler Garrett surveys the defense, drops, steps up, and then fires over the middle behind the intended receiver. Trying to hook up there with number 81. That's Bobby Brown, junior wide receiver, incomplete.
You know, we talked about Union being in the Backyard Bowl every year, so familiar with this facility. They also have played several state championship games here as well against Jinx. I know Jinx coming into last night's game, or after last night's games, 13-7 here at TU over the past several years, and certainly Union is right along with that, and I think that has something to play with those two schools being so familiar with this stadium and just the overall surroundings, Steve.
extra media on hand in most cases, more photographers, draws more attention. Some of the teams that have been eliminated, several guys from different teams will all come together and go to the game, check it out. Always just a little bit more as you get deeper into the playoffs. And I know their hopes were to get into that championship game when the sun rose this morning, or at least they were awakened by thunderstorms in the Oklahoma City area. But, you know, you can't have both teams come out on top. Redskins take over 1st and 10 from their own 42-yard line. Handoff left side, and spinning and dodging and darting is Terrell Buchanan, number 28. Nice gain of the play of about 6.
And Buchanan was, he's been quite a story. He's worked his way back onto the football team and playing very well on both sides of the ball for Union.
Buchanan gets the call again. Nice play defensively, and young man sliding in there that we've called his name a bunch this afternoon, Emilio Dougherty. He's a senior.
You know, it's interesting. Mustang comes in as the home team, although Union won their district championship. Last night, Owasso was the home team, yet Jinx won their district championship. So both teams on the other side of the field, and yet got the home locker room because they didn't want the teams crossing each other, going from the visiting locker room to the home locker room. So even though Jinx and Union were district champs and were not awarded being the home teams, they got the home locker room.
That is very interesting.
And the visiting locker room, trust me, is not nearly as nice as the home locker room here at TU.
May have been a fumble on the play. Broncos are saying that they have it.
I don't think they got the first down anyway.
I think you're right. And Farquhar looks like he's holding a right shoulder or arm, or maybe just took a good pop right there. And the Broncos get the turnover right at midfield. And they have not snapped the ball but maybe a half dozen times, maybe, on the Union side of the field the entire game. So again, something to hang your hat on. See the turnovers, just one apiece for both teams so far to this point. Broncos kind of trying to come out and get some points on the board. Parker moves into the slot right as Garrett drops to throw. Quick pass on time, 7-yard gain on the play. Pass is caught there by Jacoby Long. Garrett fires a strike right in the midsection. Nice delivery.
Interesting story on there's to look at Jacoby Long, the very athletic receiver. He's had a nice game for Mustang, but interesting story on Chandler Garrett we'll get to here in a minute.
2nd down, here comes a blitz off the edge, but Brown takes the handoff, gets first down yardage before he's finally taken down at the 36-yard line in Union territory.
Chandler Garrett, even though he's at Mustang, grew up in Chakotah and became a part of Steve Clarkson's Dream Maker Tours. You take a look at Chase Brown and what the year he has had, over 1,000 yards rushing. A little bit undersized compared to Tyler Atkins, but still a great year for Chase Brown.
Garrett looking to throw left side, and he's going to be taken down and dropped when Gluski in there for the sack.
I believe that's the 4th sack for Union this afternoon. And again, Gluski is a guy that follows the likes of Dalton Rodriguez and some other all-state pass rushers that have been so good for Union over the years. The other one is Chase Nelson, who went on to play at the University of Tennessee a few years ago.
4:15 left to go here, 3rd quarter. 2nd down and 17 for the Broncos. Brown goes in motion. They'll throw out his way. Garrett paying the price after he delivered the football, as again he got taken to the turf.
Al-Jaburi there put a knot on him, and Garrett again is waving off. He's fine, even smiling. He's still the team leader of this team, and again, what an interesting story. In the 6th and 7th grade, he's traveling around the country to Dallas, Houston, Santa Clara, California, and even Hawaii. Got to meet Joe Montana, he said. It was a national talent search likened to that of American Idol for quarterbacks as a 6th and 7th grader.
Interesting, huh? They always talk about gym rats, and they say that he is one. And one Sunday we went over there to do the TV show that I host, and there was one player in the entire locker room, and he was doing sit-ups, and it was Chandler Garrett. A nice pass by Garrett to Parker. Not nearly enough for a first down, but again, able to get some positive yardage on the ledger books as you watch Garrett fire over the top and throw a strike to David Parker. But not quite enough for the first down, and the Union Redskins will take over on downs.
There's a look at Mason Farquhar, who has a younger brother on this team as well.
Can't imagine that Farquhar will play too many more series after this one. Yeah. 3:34 left to go. Redskins well in control, 49-0. As the handoff there goes to Brooks.
Jamari Brooks stopped by the right side of the defense.
You know, something it's interesting that Jinx and Union appear they'll meet again in the state championship. Jinx is going for the three-peat, 3 straight state championships for their senior class, and that hasn't happened for Jinx. Even though they've won several state championships since '96, that hasn't happened since 2001 to win 3 in a row.
Farquhar throws far side, complete there to Barnes. Well, and you know, when the season started, and everybody always talks about Jinx and Union, and you could have made the argument in 5A that it's been pretty much either Carl Albert or Guthrie. Right. In 4A, it's been Anadarko and Clinton. 3A, it's been Blanchard and Kingfisher, but some of those teams didn't make it that far this year. But some of those still have. The Union, the Jinx, the Kingfisher still alive. Brooks tries the left side, and he'll get across midfield down to about the 49-yard line.
One school in the Tulsa area that had been to the playoffs on a consecutive streak, 27 straight years, was Cassia Hall. And, of course, they're well known in the 2A, 3A level. They moved up to 4A this year and got beat in the opening round of the playoffs. Jinx in the playoffs for the 26th straight year, Union now for the 25th straight year. But who holds the record, who holds the mark right now for the longest playoff streak in the state of Oklahoma?
Got me.
I believe it's a 3A school. Semino, 32 straight years.
Mike Snyder.
Yep, and they got handled yesterday, and then Davis continues to roll. They are the next closest at 31 straight years in the playoffs.
I really thought Christian Heritage was going to give them more of a battle last night. They went all the way to the end of the game last year in the playoffs, and Christian Heritage had been playing quite well. But Davis is an animal unlike a few others. Farquhar, pump fake, and now runs it. And he's got lots of running room on that far side and scatters out of bounds at about the 31-yard line. So Farquhar continues to add to his impressive numbers on the afternoon.
Well, he's closing in on probably 75 yards rushing and over 200 yards passing. And he just commands the football field. There are just some guys that just have a different level about them, and that is certainly the case with number 7, the quarterback for Union.
He has had a whale of a ball game this afternoon. 278 yards through the air, another 47 yards on the ground. Here's Brooks. Gets inside the 30, down to about the 28-yard line.
By Emilio Doherty.
The last time I mentioned Union, 42 straight wins against teams from the Oklahoma City area. The last time they lost to an Oklahoma City team was to Putnam City North. Matt Warren and that group in 2001 was the last time they lost to an Oklahoma City school in the semifinals.
That was the North team that went to state, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
Yeah, those, go back on that 6A1, 6A2 discussion, and it has created a lot more energy in some of those schools that are in 6A2. But now some of those schools that are at the bottom end of the 6A1, there's no 6A2 teams that normally would have been on their schedule. So now the coaches who maybe aren't playing up to playoff caliber football, but still we're able to count on, you know, a few wins each year. There's no gimmies on their schedule now, so that's been the downside to it. Is a lot of those schools, and it's the smaller schools, the schools that are 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 in the OSSAA's ADM, just had a rough time this year in trying to to battle and compete.
How about this? The 16th largest school in the state is Putnam City. They have 2/3 more of a student than Lawton. So there's a borderline for you. You've got to watch.
Farquhar scrambling again, running room, first down yardage, far side, slips out at about the 18-yard line. Spot him at the 19.
And again, that's 4th and 8. And when you get as many talented receivers downfield and you open up the field for number 7, if there's nothing there, he finds some room. And the weak side is the strong side rather's really been open for Farquhar.
I think he made a great point earlier too, is his command of the field. He knows where all of his teammates are. He knows the line of scrimmage. He can see lanes, and he just has a great understanding of the position. Thomas with a nice move, breaks a tackle, gets inside the 10 down to about the 9-yard line, and close again to another first down.
Thomas is a guy that started in the secondary last year, but he couldn't break the wide receiver group when you had the likes of Jeffrey Mead, who's gone on to OU, and others. But this year, again, they put him more on the receiving end. And again, he came up in that first game of the year at 13 catches, a new school record, and then they figured out we've got a pretty good guy here.
Well, he's got single coverage top of your screen right now with no safety help over the top. Instead, they hand it off, and sliding forward for a short gain is Brooks, as it looked like he slipped down. A little slow getting up is number 32, Keontae Miles for Mustang. Miles, again, another one of those juniors that you talked about on this very young defense.
They're going to have some work to do, though, on offense.
Well, there's the matchup that we talked about the previous play where he had just single coverage. But that time Farquhar overshoots him. We've got flags on the play.
We only had 3 penalties in the first half, Steve. Much better than what Casey alluded to earlier at the start of the game when they had 27 penalties. Coach Dombeck told her and told me, yeah, there were 30 penalties in the game. Well, there probably were. 27 were actually assessed, and there were probably 3 or 4 that weren't assessed in that game. So this game has been much cleaner, and of course Steve DeVivo is one of the better officiating crews here in the local area.
Personal foul on the defense. Player ejected.
Ooh.
Well, I was watching the ball in the pass, so I missed it entirely. You got the word from our referee. And now that'll move Union closer to yet another touchdown.
Gives them, I believe, a first down, or is it still going to be second down? No, I guess second down still. No.
So Farquhar trying to lead his team into the end zone once again. Brooks is in the backfield. Got trips to the left side. Farquhar looking that way all the time, and he spins out. How to get away from that tackle, and then fires a last-second pass that's tipped, caught, but well out of bounds. That'll bring up third as he tried to go to Zach Fisher on that play, and I don't know how he spun out of that would-be sack.
I don't either. Wow. At the Mustang 3, so now they'll probably bring in Holt. I would assume, we'll see, for a field goal opportunity. And now Union wants to talk about it as we end the quarter.
All right, 3 quarters in the books, 1 quarter to go. The Union Redskins controlling this one. They lead Mustang 49-0 on your Oklahoma Ford Dealers Game of the Week.
With Cox Business Internet Gateway, you can access the web wirelessly, anywhere inside your business. Worry-free. And it's the fastest in-office Wi-Fi experience available. Switch with confidence.
Homeowners Relief Line can help save your home. We specialize in foreclosure assistance, and that's all we do. If you're behind on your mortgage payments, being threatened with foreclosure, have been denied a loan modification, or been the victim of a predatory loan, it's critical that you call Homeowners Relief Line now. Homeowners Relief Line has a network of attorneys, and our agents are available to speak to you right away. New laws are in effect that may save your home, so call Homeowners Relief Line now.
Back at Chapman Stadium on the campus of the University of Tulsa, 49-0 our score in Union right now. With a 4th down and goal at the 3. That's head coach Jeremy Dombeck. See what the Redskins want to do here. And you talk about late in game. You know, this is something where Union, they still have a big football game that they have to play. And they obviously have a good kicker and their special teams play quite well. But this is something where you can't get enough repetition against the team, and I don't have any problem with trying to kick a field goal in this situation. See how they want to play it. And that's what they're going to do.
Nothing more really than an extra point from where the ball is stationed at the 3-yard line.
Holt on the season has been money, and he knocks it through once again. 52-0. The Redskins on top in the 6A semifinal game. We'll take a timeout and continue our coverage right here on the Cox Channel and the Cox HS Hub.
Thank you for calling the phone company.
Yes, hi, my internet's down.
I'm sorry to hear that. Try www.phonecompanyproblems.com.
I can't because my internet's down.
Okay, then go ahead and email our customer service center.
No, I don't have the internet.
Download our helpful PDF.
Sir, my internet does not work.
Wait, you have no internet?
No.
You need to call someone.
Want better service? Cox Business has 24/7 local support, so you can switch with confidence. Bundle and save today.
You know, some people have told me reverse mortgages sound too good to be true. I mean, you get cash out of your home, no monthly payments, and still own your home. There's got to be a catch, right, Jesse? Well, there isn't. It's like any other mortgage, only with a reverse mortgage, the loan's paid back when the last borrower leaves the home. In fact, reverse mortgages are based on a notion that President Reagan signed into law over 25 years ago in order to help seniors remain in their homes. They're simply an effective way for folks just like you to get the cash you need to enjoy your retirement.
Call 1-800-234-5725 now to receive a new free information kit, including a reverse mortgage guide and DVD, personal stories from people like you, and a brand new family guide for children and loved ones, all absolutely free with no obligation. With a government-insured tax-free reverse mortgage from AAG, you always retain complete ownership of your home. Call 1-800-234-5725 to receive your free info kit today.
Back at Chapman Stadium, future cheerleaders or basketball players or swimmers enjoying the atmosphere here today, and so are the Union Redskins on their sidelines. Not so much the Mustang Broncos, as Union has stretched out their lead now to 52-0.
You mentioned future basketball players, and that reminds me, one of the better athletes to come out of the state of Oklahoma from Mustang a few years ago was Danielle Sonati, right? Wasn't she from Mustang? Does that ring a bell?
Yes.
Great basketball player and excelled in several sports.
Kick is away. Parker on the run on the far side of the field, going to bring it back towards the middle and gets out to about the 30-yard line. Of course, Mustang had a great year taking the softball championship this year. Jaden Chestnut is signed at the University of Oklahoma.
Yeah, Mustang won this there. Here we go. Look at this. Right on cue, Steve Marshall. Well said.
Mustang going on, and Casey Bowles, of course, had her high school softball career at Mustang, and you can see the replay of the home run in that championship run for the Lady Broncos and Coach Brian Howard. This is Candace Clark KC's Karis Clark getting the hit there. Going to the wall, and let the celebration begin.
Good stuff.
Back to the action. Pass here is a little too tall, incomplete. Trying to complete the pass there to Jacob Lemons. Chandler Garrett, the quarterback. He comes back next year.
That was Mustang's 23rd state championship in their school history. So congratulations to them for that. They've also won 6 girls basketball state championships. So that's probably been their most prestigious sport, along with volleyball. They have 6 state championships in volleyball as well.
I was doing radio back in Altus when they were still a 5A school and competing against the Bulldogs, and they had some very fine teams during those years. Here's a pass to Parker, who had it, turned to run with it, and just dropped it. Incomplete.
And that was 3rd down. That was going to be one of their better plays, yardage-wise, of the day.
Just not to be. I talked with Coach Dombeck during the week, and obviously then he had a pretty good feeling. Like, as we mentioned earlier, they had hung with them, and maybe sometimes that's the problem, is that you did play them close, and you maybe get to feel too good about the situation. And as it turned out here today, just not to be, as Josh Vanoy puts a foot into it. Takes a good Mustang bounce. This one's going to roll forever, all the way down to about the 11-yard line.
55-yarder. The longest punt. I was a youngster and saw the longest punt in state playoff history, 90 yards. Weatherford at Drumright back in the 60s, and Ron Schatz, the former OU player and former lieutenant governor, was the guy that booted it. It's probably a 35-mile-an-hour wind on Thanksgiving Day back in the late 60s. And it hit about midfield, Steve, and rolled 40 yards down to the 10-yard line.
Sometimes those balls, when they first hit, they take off. Quarterback change in there for the Union Redskins. Checking in now, I believe it was number 5.
Yes, sir.
That is Brandon Birch.
Yeah, Fisher is normally the backup quarterback if anything should happen to Farquhar, but certainly Fisher is such a regarded receiver on this team that they'll put Birch in and keep Fisher healthy for the state championship game. Again, that is scheduled, as David Jackson from the OSSAA told us at halftime, that is scheduled here at the University of Tulsa, Jinx in Union, on Friday, December 5th.
Here's the snap and the run by Brooks. Or is that Adkins? Actually, it's neither one.
Neither one. That's Courtney Holmes.
Holmes on the carry. Number 20. Clock stop, 10:42 left to go here in this 4th quarter of play.
It's we'll get to Kirk Frederick here after this play. Ouch.
Big stick there. Actually going to be a loss on the play. Watch the replay here as tackler meets ball carrier. And tackler wins that one.
Good job. Mustang still playing hard, no question. Not about to succumb on that particular play. As DeAndre Thomas, the sophomore, makes the stop. As we mentioned, there are some good young players on this Mustang team, especially on the defensive side. And then you've got Garrett coming back on the offensive side.
Punt was nearly blocked. Mustang will get some of their best field position of the day as they will start at the 46-yard line in Union territory. A timeout, and then we're back with more right here on the Cox Channel. Stay with us.
Okay, people, focus.
I need to download a presentation by noon.
We don't have enough bandwidth. I can give you tomorrow night at 7.
Great.
Nice blouse. Need to stream a video for a meeting?
What's going on?
Oh, there's not enough bandwidth for everybody, so they hired a scheduler.
Next.
I need to upload a client proposal ASAP.
ASAP's taken. Check back later. Come on, come on.
I just need 3 minutes of you two to relax.
Back of the line.
Internet shouldn't be something you schedule. Cox Business has speeds faster than DSL, so you can switch with confidence. Bundle and save today.
I've been making credit card payments for years, but the balance never seems to go down.
American households are averaging almost $16,000 in credit card debt, with an average interest rate of almost 17%. Making minimum payments, it would take you 29 years to pay that debt in full. Call right now. Find out what can be done to reduce your balances, lower your payments, put an end to creditor harassment, and finally be rid of credit card debt. Thousands have made the call. Why shouldn't you? Call now and stop being scared.
Back at Chapman Stadium here in Tulsa, University of Tulsa. 52-0, Union Redskins on top. Mustang Broncos all set to take over in Redskin territory at the 46-yard line. And a new quarterback in there for Mustang as well. Number 3 is Luke Ring, junior quarterback. So trying to get everybody in there and get some experience playing on the bigger field, even though it's really the same dimensions, but just the aura of it all. Second down and 10 is Ring. Throws, pass is caught near side Parker. And the spot is going to be, he needs to get to about the 41. He's going to be about a yard shy.
There's Coach Fred. He, again, started his career in Shawnee and then played here at the University of Tulsa. But in his office, he has some interesting artifacts. A 1951 program when Union played Kiefer. And he says that's the kind of remind him that there was football here before he started. And then he has some cleats that his dad wore when his dad played high school and college football. And then he has a coconut football that the athletic director, that Emily Warren Barkley, the athletic director, was in Hawaii in 2008. And that was the first state championship for Coach Fred. And she brought back this, the coconut with his name on it and everything, shaped as a football. So he keeps that in his office as well.
Quarterback Ring on the carry will get inside the 40. Down to about the 39-yard line. And he's hoping to add another gold ball to that collection.
You bet. It looks as though, and again, Jinx or Union have won the state championship in 6A every year since 1996. So the streak will go to 19 now in a row.
And that was the first year there was a 6A, right?
Yes.
So they've known no other champion. There's a flag that's going to be pass interference. And that'll be enough with the infraction to be a first down for the Broncos. Can you take your small victories as you can?
I beg your pardon. 6A started in 94.
94,
Steve.
okay.
Yeah, just to be exact. But Midwest City won the state championships in 94 and 95. And interestingly enough, Andy Collier, who was the starting quarterback on those Midwest City teams.
Pass interference on the defense. 15-yard penalty. Previous spot, first down.
Collier is now a middle school principal at Mustang. And a very interesting article in the Oklahoma City paper on Andy yesterday. He was a great quarterback, went on to play at NEO. And Andy was a coach in this program as well.
Handoff right side, looking to get the corner. Not much there. The ball carrier in the play, number 25, Aaron Kinchin. Gets a couple yards on the carry.
Collier was saying, though, in 95, when Midwest City beat Jinx in overtime at OSU, he said then, even though Jinx had won the state title in 93, he said then you could kind of tell Jinx realized, hey, we belong here. This is something that we can become accustomed to and continue to play for every year. And that has started the tradition, he thought, for Jinx and Union, because there was a few seasons where Union got beat by Jinx, 3 in a row, 98, 99, and 2000. Union finally got over that hump, won the state championship in 2002 over BA, 2004 over Jinx, 2005 over Mustang, and then they started believing. And Collier said this Mustang program is certainly And again, behind Jinx, BA, and Union, the most wins in 6A in the last 10 years.
Throw to the corner, trying to get on the scoreboard. Pass is incomplete. And that'll bring up 4th down as Parker looking for maybe an interference call or something. You can see the Union player, number 71, Jack Haynes, lost his helmet. So he's got to sit this next play out. 4th down situation from the Broncos from the 24-yard line in Union territory, their deepest penetration of the day. Clock stopped, 7:26 left to go in the contest. Ring takes the snap, steps up, looking, now will run and be taken down. It's a nice open field tackle there for number 32 coming up and making the stop. That's Seth Mishler.
Odd that they would still have some of the starters in the game, but that's certainly the case for Mishler and this Union defense trying to preserve the shutout here midway in the 4th quarter. But you look back at, again, this Mustang program, even though they're going to fall short today, this is an opportunity, again, for this program to build upon this and to realize that, hey, we belong in the semifinals. And, again, to finish 3rd in your district behind Union and Owasso and to advance the semifinals is quite a feat for this program.
Well, they've already decided there, too, that they are not going to split their school district. UConn has said the same thing, Mustang. And I think there's a lot that goes into that as the ball carrier here is stacked up. You don't want to say that the multi-school school districts hurt themselves, but I think there's a lot to be said for that. When you have, as you watch a replay here, of number 23 carrying the ball for the Union Redskins, and that is Mario Ferretti. You know, when you go out and you try to solicit donations from sponsors, instead of there being one school that the car dealer or the orthopedic surgeon decides to put his money with, now he's dividing it among, in some cases, 3 different schools. And, as well as sharing players and things like that. You'll hear West Side people all the time, well, if more schools combine their one team and Edmond schools, well, that's just not the way it is. Right. They've chosen that route, and I think it does have some effect on it. And there's others that will tell you it's the fact that Jenks and Union and their grade school through middle school through junior high, they all play the same offense, the same defense. They have the same terminology that's embedded throughout the years. And so there's a lot of different factors that go into that.
And even though Broken Arrow has had a change in coaches, quite a few over the years, here's Coach Fred, who was a longtime assistant at Union. Trimble's been at Jinx 19 years as the quarterback's out of bounds, stopped the clock midway here in the 4th period. And then you look at Owasso, Bill Patterson's been over at Owasso now for 9 seasons. So there's something about the continuity of those programs, I think, to lend to their success. And Broken Arrow, there's never been anything official, but again, that school district is still growing at such a rate that I feel it's inevitable. This is nothing from Broken Arrow, it's just my opinion, but I think it's inevitable that school will eventually get so big it will have to eventually split into 2 schools.
Great punt.
Wow, what a punt.
Boom, that thing. Line of scrimmage was the 24. It's going to be taken down at the 22. So what, 56, 54-yard punt on the play. No return. And the Broncos will get the football back. 6:27 left to go in our contest here. Union Redskins setting the table. And interesting that both these guys, Frederick and Trimble, now will have 2 weeks to prepare for a showdown. That'll be interesting, as it always is, and usually comes down to whichever team has the ball last. As you take a look at Luke Ring, the quarterback now in there for the Mustang Broncos. Turns and gives. Hand off left side, will get about 2 or 3 yards.
Well, if you're just a sports fan and a high school football fan, even though I know some are maybe tired of a Jinx Union state championship, they'll meet for the 10th time in the last 19 seasons for the 6A state championship. They've always seemed, whether it's been the Backyard Bowl or the state championship, There have always been so many great games between the two schools.
Run to the near side. Stopped at about the 30-yard line. Pickup of 3 on the play.
You know, we talked about great athletes and a lot of the fine football players that have come through Mustang. How about Olympic wrestler Kendall Cross that went on to OSU? Kendall Cross was an Olympic wrestler out of Mustang.
Of course, you have Dennis Byrd, who played in the National Football League for so long. Graduate of Mustang. Pass play, Ring looking to throw. And we'll lob the ball downfield, trying to hook up with Duran, but incomplete. Stop.
And of course, Dennis Byrd, long time in the Owasso area here north of Tulsa, and his kids went to Metro Christian, and they named and he helped out as a coach when he got injured and moved back. He was an assistant, volunteer assistant at Metro Christian, and they named the stadium after him. He's now at Lincoln Christian.
Lincoln Christian,
yeah,
right.
He's now at Lincoln Christian, but he was at Metro for a while, and they named his stadium after him. Now he's helping Darren Melton at Lincoln Christian.
There's a high punt that's going to hit around midfield. And bounce and stop right at the 46-yard line. We have 5:18 left to go in this 6A semifinal contest. Union on top on your Oklahoma Ford Dealers Game of the Week.
Watch college football on ESPN. Watch ESPN app with Cox Advanced TV. Call Cox at 844-386-9159 or go to Cox.com.
Are you having problems with the IRS? Our trained professionals here at Wall & Associates have over 30 years experience helping individuals and businesses solve their tax problems.
The IRS was garnishing my paycheck, but Wall & Associates had my levy released within 48 hours. Wall & Associates got the IRS off my back, and I never had to talk to them again.
We'll meet with you in person, face-to-face, at a local office near you.
Call 800-970-8070. We solve tax problems.
Redskins have the ball at the 46-yard line. Spencer Farquhar in at quarterback now for the Redskins. Or actually, they change quarterbacks on me again. And that's Brandon Birch.
I remember Mustang safety Keontae Miles after the game last week says, "We love the cold," after beating Broken Arrow. I guess it just wasn't quite cold enough today, was it? Because it was pretty mild and the rain has held off, so that's been great.
Looks like we're going to make it through after all. 3rd down and 11 coming up for the Redskins. Birch is in at quarterback. Running back just to his left. Throw comes near side. Goes incomplete, stops the clock with 4:10 left to play.
Mustang, as we mentioned, lost to Owasso by 4 points after they had them in the 4th quarter down, and then had this Union team down by 3 scores before they lost 30-24. They also lost in week 2 to Stillwater, who had an interesting year. They were in 6A Division II and were off to a pretty good start. Their quarterback was really coming around. He got hurt early, and then they really suffered through some tough times before they bounced back.
Union kicks. Mustang tries to recover on the bounce. Goes out of bounds. It will still be Mustang football. Right at about the 25-yard line.
Neither team able to run the ball 3 weeks ago, Steve, very effectively. But I'd say Union was able to do their damage today.
You can see the coaches talking with the kids and sending them back out with exactly 4 minutes left to go in the contest. You know, Coach Downbeck does not like to see that goose egg up there, and would like to see about getting that taken down. Dropping the throw, pass complete far side. Slips a tackle, picks up about 6 on the play.
You know, when you look at the, as we close out the postseason here in the next few weeks and then turn our attention on the high school level to recruiting. This is going to be a season that is going to see a lot of great defensive linemen recruited. Michael Anderson from Owasso has already been committed to TU. Q Overton from Jinx committed to OU. Lawton has a lineman that is going to be highly recruited. This Ringluski from Union here is going to be highly recruited. But next year seems as though the junior class is going to be a lot of quarterbacks. We mentioned Torrey from Santa Fe, Garrett here at Mustang, and then Del City's Terry Wilson is a guy that a lot of people are going to look for.
Clayton Sims over at Deer Creek is another youngster that really came on after he transferred from Jones. Had the year of the quarterback a couple years ago when you had Justice Hansen over there at Edmond Santa Fe. Here's Ring. Gets a block and gets a first down out near midfield. See where they spot him.
Nice play by Luke Ring. This guy is, he could probably start on a lot of teams, certainly as a junior, backing up Garrett. Look at that move, getting to the outside.
Inside Union territory at the 49-yard line. Straightaway give and thrown to the ground. Far side, there's the Union young ladies enjoying the game here today. Shout out to the cheerleaders. It seems like, you know, there's cheerleading season and then there's all the other seasons that they, of course, participate in, whether it's at football or basketball games. There's Parker over the middle. Pass from Luke Ring. Parker inside the 20. All the way inside the 10-yard line. Finally taken out of bounds at about the 8. And again, don't think that having that 0 up there is something that the Mustang Broncos could care one way or the other. They do not want to get shut out here today, I promise you. Ring to Parker, and Parker does the rest. Ring's going to keep it this time, get inside the 5, and he's going to get into the end zone. Touchdown, Broncos.
You know, that's something we didn't see much from Garrett today, was running the football, but Luke Ring makes it pay off here. So congratulations to the Broncos for the first points of the day.
Ring turns, reads it, and the read says, keep it yourself. He does just that and takes it into the end zone for the 6 points.
How about that block by Larry King, the left guard? He pulled on the play and actually had 2 guys sealed off to allow Ring to score.
Extra point is up and true, and now with 2:37 left to go here in this semifinal contest, the winner has been decided, and Mustang is able to get some points on the board as they make the score now 52-7. Of course, Cox Hub is a place where people can go. Probably more Union fans are going to want to watch this replay than Mustang fans, but also another game that was played last night between Jenks and Owasso available for replay, and don't think there's not going to be some coaches that go back and watch the replay for some scouting purposes, and media members who will be covering that game will also want to go and check out the replay of both those games in preparation for this 6A state championship game that'll be played again in 2 weeks from last night.
Not only on the hub, but on demand as well. In fact, the Cox Channel does a great job over the football season, now the last 2 years, of playing some of the old vintage games. I heard Mick Cornett's voice on one of them the other night.
There, Mick. Fumble on the play. I think Union got on it.
Well, it's always fun to watch some of the vintage games and some of the former players. But first, let's take a look at this Mustang scoring drive. Luke Ring doing the job with a long run to give them a first down. And then he can throw the ball. David Parker with the yards after the catch. Gets through that tackle. inside the 10-yard line. And then Ring does the rest. A nice 75-yard drive in 6 plays. And Ring with the touchdown to give Mustang the points on the board.
And a penalty flag that was thrown. Here comes our explanation.
Kick catch interference on the kicking team.
You say fair catch interference? Is that what he said?
I think so. We were watching a couple of weeks ago in the vintage game. It was Booker T. Washington and Union. And Tom Stockton, and who at that time was the Cassia Hall coach, did the game with me back in the mid-90s. But you had DeMond Parker in that game for Booker T. Washington, Ryan Humphrey for Union. You had Justin Fuente, who's now the head coach at Memphis. Eric Bernard, who went on to A&M. You had some great players, and it's always fun to watch those vintage games and see some of the great players that have gone on to the NFL.
With the kick catch interference, 15-yard penalty, Union ball.
And of course, R.W. McQuarters was on that in that game as well.
Yeah, I remember calling some of those games, especially that Booker T basketball team with those guys.
Best I've ever seen.
Man, they were good.
Yeah. Ryan Humphrey, Marcus Hill, R.W. McQuarters, B.J. Tiger.
Eton Thomas.
Eton Thomas, who went on to play professionally after starting at Syracuse.
Running play left side. And the scrum moves forward inside the 45, finally stopped at about the 43-yard line.
You know, I don't know if it was the weather tonight that maybe handicapped the Union side of things. I was disappointed in Jinx' turnout attendance-wise last night, and Union today, and I don't know that they just came in figuring the fans just came in. Obviously, it's the weekend before Thanksgiving, so a lot of people, maybe school's out, so maybe a lot of people out of town. Hard to say, and maybe the two fan bases take these games for granted. I hope not, and I hope we have a great crowd here a week from Friday on December 5th, and probably will.
Yeah, so many families get so busy. I mean, you still see great crowds at the small school games.
Right.
But the last couple of years, I've noticed that the attendance has gone down, and you know, there's a Thunder game that's being played today, but yeah, I think especially more so probably in the Oklahoma City area that you have a chance to go watch what is a national event once the Thunder get Durant and Westbrook back. That maybe sometimes you don't go to your kid's game that night because you're going to go and see them play basketball or baseball or whatever several other times through the course of the year.
Certainly the players' parents, I would assume, and their families are here, but just the general fan base of what Union and Jinx have and what they've done over the years was a little disappointing to me this weekend.
Penalty flag comes out as we have 44 seconds left to go. It's going to be encroachment called against the defense.
Encroachment on the defense, 5-yard penalty. Results.
Steve DeVivo, our referee, will spend a lot of Saturday afternoons here in the University of Tulsa press box. He works with Eric Herring, who's another very good official. They work up in the stats room during the games, and Steve, I believe, works actually with the official clock. Eric works with the stats, and there are several officials here in the Tulsa area that work the University of Tulsa games. And of course, Coach Fred can be seen as being an alum, can be seen here on Saturday afternoons quite a bit.
Loose football, and that will be the final snap of this contest here this afternoon, as both teams start towards the middle of the field. Union Redskins are advancing to the 6A state championship game, and they will take on the Jenks Trojans by virtue of their victory here this afternoon. Final score, Redskins win it 52-7. Well, it was all pretty much Union from the get-go. Scored the first 2 times that they had the football. I think maybe the first 5 or 6 times they had the football when it's all said and done. And probably the turning point of the game that really made you think that Mustang was not going to have a chance here this afternoon was that blocked punt that was taken in for the touchdown. 52-7, the final score here as Union defeats the Mustang Broncos.
So Jinx or Union will get the gold ball for the 19th consecutive year. Jinx has won 11 of the previous 18 meetings. Union has won 7 of the previous gold balls. And they'll meet for the 10th time between the two.
All right, we're going to take a timeout, and hopefully we'll come back and have more for you. Wrap it up as well on your Oklahoma Ford Dealers Game of the Week.
Cox is the only way to experience Coach's Cabana on TV.
Watch full screen on the Cox Channel, see alongside the game in OU and OSU zone, or stream online with Cox high-speed internet at coachescabana.com.
Watch OU's big games side by side while I answer your questions and give you my insight.
Or for some real insight and a handsome face, check out OSU's Cabana on Cox. You can interact with former college coaches right here each week. Only on Cox.
Supermodel Cindy Crawford doesn't just walk the red carpet, she rocks it. At 47, she steals the show and wows the international press. Her secret is Meaningful Beauty, a complete skincare system that restores the look of youth.
Since using Meaningful Beauty, my skin tone is evening out, and I notice that all the little lines have softened.
Now, try Meaningful Beauty with Cindy's best deal ever. Normally $119, now just $39.95. But wait, call now and Cindy's Red Carpet Trio is free. You get 2 customer favorites, plus the amazing skin polishing brush to gently power away dry, dead skin cells, revealing smoother, more radiant skin.
I could tell a difference immediately. My skin felt like silk. It was beautiful.
So call the number on your screen now and get all this, a $215 value for just $39.95. Results guaranteed or your money back. Call now.
Attention structured settlement recipients. Are you receiving future payments from a settled lawsuit? Do you receive annuity payments spread out over a long period of time? Turn those payments into a large lump sum of money. Call CBC Settlement Funding now. If you qualify, you could be eligible for an immediate $1,000 fast track advance. Call CBC now to discuss your free, no obligation options.
Call 1-800-628-9790. That's 1-800-628-9790.
52-7 final score. Union wins it quickly on the field to Casey Bowles.
Hey guys, I'm here with Coach Frederick. First of all, congratulations. What a phenomenal win for your players.
Well, real excited again for our players, especially senior class. So proud of those guys. They have fought through a lot all year long and done an excellent job of preparing themselves every game. And it's always fun to have an opportunity to get back and play for a gold ball.
What do you think was the biggest difference between this game and the last time you matched up?
You know, I don't know. I mean, I think, it's obviously, I think it was 2 different performances. We were able to execute a little bit better offensively, throw the ball a little bit better, so that enabled us to move the ball.
Well, you got 2 weeks until the state championship game. What are you guys going to do until then?
Well, we're going to try to get a little bit better for sure. So we need to heal up some guys that are banged up just a little bit. Everybody is this time of year, but hopefully we can get better in the next couple of weeks and have an opportunity to compete for the ball.
All right, well, congratulations and good luck, sir. Back to you guys.
Casey, appreciate that very much, and appreciate Coach Frederick taking the time out and stopping by and talking with us here. And let's take a look and talk to our player of the game, the quarterback for the Union Redskins, Mason Farquhar. Casey?
I am here with the player of the game, Mason Farquhar. First of all, congratulations. How does it feel you're going to state championship again?
It feels awesome. Main thing is we need to stay focused and just know it's not over. We feel good about this win. We're going to go celebrate it right now, but come tomorrow, we're going to watch some film, and we're going to correct our mistakes and go win the whole thing.
What do you think was the biggest difference in this game and the last match with you, Mustang?
I think we were just focused. I think we didn't have school that day. It kind of threw us off, but today we came in focused all week. We practiced hard, and I think the focus is awesome.
Okay, well, enough about football. You're 1 week away from Thanksgiving. What's going to be on your Thanksgiving plate?
Hanging out with my family and just a lot of food.
A lot of food. Well, that's all right. Well, congratulations and good luck in the future.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you again, Casey. Mason Farquhar, your player of the game, and let's see why, Don King.
Well, the ability to run the football as a quarterback has been certainly a plus for him. And then his ability to elude the pressure and then fire, as he does here to Zach Fisher late in the first half. He was, and certainly should be, our player of the game, the tight end, Holton Fox, who took over for OU signee Carson Meyer.
So Mason Farquhar, your player of the game. There you see his numbers, 280 yards passing, 5 touchdowns, 4 of those through the air. Mason Farquhar, the quarterback for the Union Redskins, leading his team to victory this afternoon by a final score of 52-7, and that sets up your championship matchup. They ask me every year, Steve, is there anybody that can knock off Jenks or Union? And this year I didn't think there was going to be any two different teams in the finals than what we see right there. It is, once again, the Trojans and the Redskins for all the marbles in the 6A bracket. I want to thank everybody, of course, that has helped us throughout this year, from the people that work inside the truck to the guys that sometimes are out there in the inclement weather, running the cameras, running all the cable that it requires before and after all the contests. And of course, we also appreciate all of you out there, whether you're watching us on the Cox Channel in Tulsa or Oklahoma City, or on the Cox High School Hub, coxhshub.com. And of course, you can go back and see the replays, take a look at all the great pictures, read updates, stories, and everything that is high school sports. One place has it all, and that is the Cox High School Hub. For Casey Bowles, for Don King, I'm Steve Marshall. Have yourselves a happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We'll see you down the road.
We now join our regularly scheduled program in progress.
Your own little personal resurgence. Absolutely. I really watch what I put on my skin. When I read all the ingredients that was in Resurgence, I thought this is a product for me.
Being a pharmacist, the RX stands for recipe. So my recipe of adding all of these things together and have the perfect blend that makes such a unique difference in everybody's skin. And you're like the poster child. You're the one that looks like the...
You are like the poster child. In just one night, I noticed a difference. It makes you feel great. So I'd like to get it and have a whole bath in it.
Murad Resurgence works because of its proprietary phytoestrogen complex, which helps stimulate collagen production. So, with 3 simple steps, you can diminish the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles, reduce redness, instantly tighten and firm sagging skin, and lock in moisture for maximum hydration to reveal younger, healthier looking skin.
Most of us would never leave the house without makeup, let alone appear on national TV without even a drop of concealer. But this group of daring women did just that, as they bared all for our cameras.
The number of wrinkles on your face has decreased by more than 50%.
Oh, unbelievable. Look at this.
I am
Fabulous.
so thrilled. Thank you so much.
After just 30 days, an astonishing 93.9% of participants saw a reduction in the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles. 96% reported firmer skin, and an incredible 100% experienced improvement in overall skin hydration.